got the basement. Well, that, of course, is always sort of the best place to be as well here. So new tornado warning, 3:45 here for Grundy County. We've had this one storm has been kind of the dominant storm here so far. We've had kind of some showers, a few more other thunderstorms developing across the area, but for the moment, this is really the only game in town. And I'm going to be looking at kind of what the National Weather Service is saying here as well. Noticing that rotation, as we just showed you there. Now, it has been a little bit broad as we head back to kind of a velocity mode here. Yeah, the rotation sort of broad, obviously, but we've started to see a little bit more of maybe potential of this rotation getting a little bit closer to the surface, and we've had a lot of reports of wall clouds. Tons of chasers out here in eastern Iowa today, and they're obviously going to have lots of pictures and video. We've got meteorologist David Holtman. He's going to be out in the Road Warrior today kind of tracking things as well. He's actually headed towards this storm at the moment. He's working his way up that way. So we'll be able to get, there's a live looking picture at things right now. So a lot of instability in the air. We've had some of these values of instability that are very, very high today. And obviously, we've seen kind of this become sort of the mode that we could be looking at in the ingredients that are in play to see some of these stronger storms. So, yeah, looks to me like maybe we've got some of this rotation starting to tighten up a little bit here near the Eldora area. So I'm going to put a little bit of a storm track on this. This is not moving very quickly. This storm is only moving at around 25 to 30 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a storm track right from kind of where this area of rotation is at, and I'm going to drag it off to the north and east here inside this warning, and we'll kind of talk about some of the areas where this potential rotation or a tornado could be at. So you're looking at areas like Fern around 401. Now this is getting farther out into Grundy County here, kind of outside of the warning. Stout as well, 409. That's if this particular storm kind of maintains its strength and maintains its rotation here. But if you're anywhere in Grundy County between Wellsburg and Grundy Center, you're going to want to make sure you're taking your tornado precautions at the moment here. We've continued to see that rotation come up a little bit. The other big story with this storm has been the hail that has been falling. Having some reports now of that ping pong ball size hail. There have been some big reports out of the hail here. So we'll take a look kind of at the hail currently. This product sometimes takes a little bit of time to load up here. In terms of what that track of that hail has looked like, and this product takes a little bit to load, so hopefully we can get it to kind of pop up here in just a second. So there you go. Back into Hardin County between Sherman and Eldora, you're certainly looking at hail sizes 1 3/4 to 2 inches for sure out of this storm that have been ongoing. So the hail is obviously a big concern, and that threat for a tornado that we are expecting to see kind of increase in terms of that threat here as we go over the next few hours. So this particular storm, it's starting to kind of get that shape. We're always talking about looking, when we're looking at kind of reflectivity here, sort of that hooking motion where we get some of these storms to kind of curl around here. And that storm has kind of got that sort of shape to it where we've got winds wrapping around kind of the backside, but also inflow going into this storm here. So that is where obviously the fuel for this storm, all of this moisture is going to be working in. So if we get sort of this little area of inflow, and then we get this hook wrapping around the backside, that is where obviously our concern starts to rise when we see that sort of shape on radar. That is when we kind of get the best idea that maybe a tornado is imminent at this point. We'll check back in on our velocity mode, and we can see sort of that couplet now a little bit further to the east of Eldora. No reports at the moment that there is a tornado on the ground or anything like that, but you're still talking kind of right along 175 there. That's where we're seeing quite a bit of that rotation. You've got Steamboat Rock as well, just to the north, or just to your south and east. That particular area, if you know of that, that's sort of where this main area of rotation is. So Wellsburg over towards Holland, and even down, I would say, as far south here as Grundy Center, making sure that you are taking your tornado precautions at the moment here, and make sure you're getting into that interior bathroom or closet and making sure you have multiple ways to get warnings. I know that we are going to be streaming here not only on TV, but also on YouTube. We could lose power today. Certainly, folks will probably be losing power on some of these strong storms, not only from that tornado threat, but also the fact that we could see some very strong wind gusts out of these storms as well that will be approaching 60, 70 to maybe even 75 miles per hour. So we're continuing to watch that, and we'll keep you updated on what some of those power outages look like as these storms continue to kind of grow, strengthen, and we get a little bit more of these storms starting to develop. But in terms of the hail, where that biggest concern is right now, it's that purple area just to the south of Wellsburg here, and we'll kind of go in on some of those county roads that you're looking at here. That would be F Ave towards North Washington Street and 205th Street as well there. That's where some of that larger hail that we could be talking up to pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, but then golf ball or greater as well. So that is where we're kind of looking at that. This is really the only storm in town right now in terms of that tornado threat and really an overall severe threat. This is kind of a growing storm. We've got more showers and storms that are a little bit further off to the east towards the Parkersburg area, and then over towards Waverly, and then eventually over towards Waterloo as well. Not seeing rain or storms in Waterloo at the moment, but we are obviously going to be watching that closely, because as this starts to move towards a little bit more of a populated area, that concern will continue to grow. So back over to our velocity mode. National Weather Service continuing to indicate that rotation is tightening up a bit on radar, and yeah, it's right there. It's getting ready now to cross into Grundy County. It's on that Grundy County and Hardin County line. So as you can kind of see as we back this up a little bit in terms of where that velocity couplet is at, it has grown a little bit. There might be some periods of time with these storms that we see that rotation looks like it tightens fairly quickly, and then it kind of backs off a little bit as the storm kind of goes through sort of cycles as it is dealing with that. So I'm going to just look at some pictures and stuff that have might be coming in, and just trying to get a decent look at this particular storm at the moment. The National Weather Service is indicating that there has been some video of rotation near the ground east of Eldora. So that's that area. That is that spot right there that we continue to see more of that rotation that has been kind of tightening up where that greatest tornado threat is at for the moment. So just a wide view of things on what we're looking at here. This storm obviously is continuing to track its way to the north and east here. So eventually on down the line here, you're talking Dike and then towards the Waterloo, Cedar Falls area. If it maintains its strength, that would start putting it more into southeastern Butler County and then northwestern Blackhawk County as well. I can see on the reflectivity mode here now, doesn't have quite maybe the defined shape really anymore. We're obviously getting a lot of heavy rain out of this storm here, but there still is a little bit of an inflow kind of notch that is still within this storm here. But at least at this time, we have not seen, at least from the National Weather Service, there hasn't been any reports of a tornado that is on the ground. So that is good news for at least right now. Swirling dust, though, that has been kind of reported, which could maybe have indicated that there might have been a brief sort of touchdown in this particular storm here that we're kind of watching. But at least at this point, we have no confirmed tornado on the ground from the National Weather Service here from this storm, but certainly a dangerous situation. We've got a volatile atmosphere that is kind of primed today for tornadoes. We've had a lot of instability. We're talking CAPE values, convective available potential energy, that are over 4,000. That's a lot of instability and energy for these storms to really work off of and can fuel them. Decent shear as well that will kind of continue to keep these storms a little bit spinny as we move a little bit later on into this evening. But this is really the only game in town right now as we kind of show you a wider view of things. There are some showers and storms a little bit further to the east towards Waverly. Got a thunderstorm starting to go up there even towards Olwine. There are some thunderstorms beginning to pop up a little bit there as well, maybe just some showers at this point. But really, it's going to be kind of that area right now that is along that Highway 20 corridor is where that concern for the strongest of the storms, for at least right now, that is going to be the area, that Highway 20 area from Grundy County and then all the way over towards Dubuque. So everybody's going to get at least a little bit of a taste of the stronger storms as we go throughout the evening here. So we'll head back in a little bit of a closer look of things. Grundy Center, obviously very noisy, tons of lightning on these storms as well. You can see that as I kind of turn that on for you here and just show you the amount of lightning that is going on. I know that meteorologist David Holtman, he is out in the Road Warrior right now. We can pull up his shot. Let's try and take a look at that. I know he's headed towards that storm right now. He's going to be, looks like he's north on Highway 63. So he's working his way through Tama County right now and trying to get north into Blackhawk and Grundy County there. But that looks like he's kind of looking off towards that storm. Obviously, he's turning now, so the camera is going to look back the other way. But the storm for him, at least at this moment, looks to be more off, yeah, there, that way there. You can see kind of the dark blue skies there as we're kind of looking off. So he's quickly trying to get over to this storm and give us a little bit of a closer look at things out of this. But still no major reports in terms of maybe a tornado being on the ground here. We'll obviously have to kind of see exactly. And then I'm looking back here at some of the reports that are now coming in. It looks like, okay, maybe did have a brief tornado that was on the ground. And yes, so back in Hardin County towards Eldora, there was a small tornado that did touch down, a brief tornado. So it did do actually some damage back towards Eldora. That is from the Hardin emergency manager there. So that was back a county over. We're now seeing this storm really move into Grundy County here. And a lot of heavy rain. And boy, that hail core has now come up quite a bit over these last couple of scans here. So our hail tracker indicating a quarter size to probably at least golf ball at the moment here towards Holland and north of Grundy Center, north and northwest. So that's big time hail, man. If you can, obviously we want you to try and get in and get shelter. I know vehicles kind of become a bit of a priority. I get it as well, man. I don't want my vehicle out kind of sitting in hail, but with a damaging storm like this, if you're out ahead of it and you're not in a warning, good idea to kind of batten down the hatches there a little bit. When we're kind of talking about those safe spaces as well, we always want you on that interior room just because of the potential for some of these larger hailstones. If they do get thrown around, we could see those easily take out some of those west side windows when they get golf ball size to a little bit bigger than that. So yeah, so we've had at least a brief tornado at the moment here. And yeah, this storm, at least in terms of what its presentation is on radar right now, not quite as impressive. It does look like we kind of had maybe a storm start to kind of merge into this a little bit. Yeah, so you can see sort of that storm that was back off to the south and west of this storm a little bit earlier here. Right here, we had a little bit of a merger take place over the past recent scan. So that was about 322. And now as we go to about 340, that storm has kind of moved itself and has been ingested by this other storm. So the rotation not quite as clean, and it's very broad at the moment. That's good news. We'll take that. So the rotation not quite as tight. Those greens and reds not coming together quite as much at the moment. So that's good news. Obviously, we don't want to have to deal with tornadoes if we don't have to. But the way the day has kind of set up, obviously, there's a lot of danger today when it comes to that severe threat. So yeah, it does look like we've had a little bit of a kind of a merger with this storm here. That has kind of limited sort of that rotation. And now it's going to be kind of the waiting game on this storm. Obviously, when cells merge together, they can do kind of some weird things. We'll have to see sort of whether or not we get that sort of rotation to kind of come back and that tornado threat maybe increases once again a little bit. But it does look like we've had sort of this merger take place that has kind of knocked out some of that sort of the sort of the tornado potential, at least for the moment. But as we look at some of our storm reports now, we're getting some of those to come in. And yeah, it looks like near the Eldora area, we did have that brief touchdown that was reported by emergency managers. Looks like a couple of storm chasers out there were managing to catch that as well. So yeah, it looks to be near the Eldora area. Yeah, we had that potential tornado that was either south and east of Eldora there. That's where we were kind of looking at that. Some hail reports. So this would be south of Wellsburg. Report of 1.8 inches. So yeah, very large hail. That will be greater than ping pong ball size. That is just a concern that we're going to be dealing with here through the rest of the day. So some of those storm reports starting to come in a little bit now. And we're going to see plenty more of those as we go throughout the rest of the day here. So heading back now over to our reflectivity, it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. That was just issued as well. This is kind of an extension on this particular storm here. So as we look at this new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued does include Grundy County, far southeastern portions of Butler County, and then far western Black Hawk County now. So this storm continuing to track itself off to the east and northeast here at a very slow rate. We're only looking at around 25 to 30 miles per hour. That golf ball size hail threat is going to continue, if not a little bit greater than that. We've had several reports of that larger sized hail that has been coming in. So that's a big concern. So some of the new areas now in this brand new severe thunderstorm warning. This does include Dyke up to New Hartford and then far western portions of Black Hawk County. So Highway 20, man. That is not going to be the spot to be. So if you know somebody who might be taking the drive there, or typically this time of the day, we're getting close to 4 o'clock. Folks are going to be kind of getting off work here. If you know somebody who is going to be traveling maybe out of Waterloo and they're heading home, trying to get back into Grundy County there, and they might be leaving in the next 15 to 30 minutes, it's going to be tough. They're going to be dealing with torrential downpours as well as some very large hail. So Highway 20 runs right through here right now. That is sort of an area where if you know somebody who's going to be driving that, give them a call, shoot them a text, say, hey, might be best for you to kind of pull off, head into a gas station or a business, a site-built structure, get off the roadways. Never good to be driving, obviously, when you're dealing with these heavy rains, as well as the very large hail that we are expecting, as well as the tornado threat. That's going to continue to be a significant issue here as we go over the next few hours as well. So driving going to be a fairly big concern. We continue to get more reports. Golf ball-sized hail, Holland, we just talked about how that sort of hail core that was setting up was pretty much right over top of you. Golf ball sized hail there now from this storm. And it's a large area where this hail core is kind of at for the moment. Grundy Center, you're getting kind of lucky that this storm is staying off to your north, but boy, with the golf ball sized hail, tons of damage can be caused out of that. We're talking damage to potential windshields to cars, even windows. You could see some damage to maybe some siding with some stronger winds as well. So this storm continuing to pack quite the punch here. The main core that is continuing to move through parts of Grundy County. North of Grundy Center here, we've had an extension on that severe thunderstorm warning that is going to go until 4:30 now. Includes parts of Grundy County and then far western Black Hawk County here as well. Meteorologist David Holtman continues to track things out in the Road Warrior right now. Yeah, we've got a nice look at things from him. As I mentioned, he was quickly moving his way up towards this storm here right now, this severe warned storm. And right now he is working his way towards that. Looks like he's on L Avenue, continuing to kind of track his way closer and closer to this storm. And hello there. We got Chief Meteorologist Rebecca Kopelman in here as well. Quickly running in here, we've had a couple of reports. Obviously, a tornado that has touched down in Hardin County, east of Eldora. A lot of large hail reports out of this, and David's quickly starting to approach the storm now. And he's on the south side, so giving you a view of it, and you can see there's certainly some lowering that is going on, and there are some reports of, I saw they were saying, some dust swirling underneath, and there hadn't been kind of a confirmation of
cloud, the actual cloud down to the ground, but it does look like there's a funnel extending from that wall cloud there. I was seeing kind of the visuals. He's going in and out of the trees. It does certainly look like it. It's hard to say if anything is hitting the ground. I would not be surprised. There's like a thin condensation funnel. I wouldn't be surprised if it's perhaps touching down. Kind of hard to see with the rain curtains and such. And we'll have to see if there's any sort of confirmation, but you can almost see a little bit of that funnel kind of extending out from the cloud there. It looks like, though, they did let go of the tornado warning now. Yeah, they did let go of that warning. They're noting a downward trend in rotation, and at least at the moment, we're seeing that kind of as well. There's not quite as much rotation on this as there was earlier back in Hardin County, where we kind of had a little bit better defined area of rotation, especially where that tornado that was confirmed by the emergency manager out there. But yeah, just kind of looking at our radar view of things on our velocity, yeah, we're not seeing it quite as much anymore, which is good news once again. So the National Weather Service letting that tornado warning expire here. That was about a minute ago at 3:45, but a dangerous storm that has quite a bit of hail. We're continuing to see that be sort of the main problem right now. Yeah, a lot of ping pongs, golf balls, and they're saying, yeah, they're letting go of the storm. And we are still going to see some rotation, but it's going to be in the form of happening more so in the tops of the cloud where that hail is forming. And that can still eventually kind of translate back down to the ground. And it still has, they're talking about the cell merger happening because there's a storm to the north. And I know this one's been, I've been watching it, it's been kind of merging with another cell to the east as well. But it still has that kind of opening down to the south where you can get this inflow into the storm that can create that rotation that can lead to a tornado. And there's certainly still some kind of fingers coming down from the cloud just watching the Road Warrior camera, and certainly a lowering in general on with the cloud there, with the storm, and something to watch for sure. But the bigger issue, which has been of concern, is the potential for large hail. And as Kason was mentioning, you know, windows getting broken, vehicles getting damaged, big dents in them, and that is going to be something we will see a lot with these storms, unfortunately, today, that we could be seeing more and more hail, and some remarks that maybe they could be baseball to softball in size if we see them strengthen, unfortunately. Yeah, that's obviously tornado threat and this hail threat, two of the big ones here today. I'll just note up towards this would be up a little bit farther north into Butler County here. We're starting to see maybe a little bit more of a hail core there as well, south of Dumont and then west of Allison. That's an indicator right there of potentially some hail that is starting to come up here. This storm is just in terms of kind of the direction that it is moving would allow it to be a little bit more of maybe that hail producer. So just a heads up there. It is not warned, but you could be looking at some hail, certainly greater than quarters, maybe at the moment, or quarter sized, and then potentially a greater here. But that concern down towards Grundy County here, at least for the moment, we're not seeing the rotation that was quite as tight as what it was back towards or back off to the west in Hardin County. However, obviously, as we had some of these cells start to merge, weird things can obviously happen, and it's going to be continuing, or it's going to be worth monitoring this as we continue to go. This doesn't mean that the tornado threat is done by any means with this particular storm, and it's certainly not done as we go throughout the rest of this evening as well. Yeah, and we'll just take a look out at the Road Warrior camera, because I was seeing some images earlier of this storm, and there was a much more well-defined kind of wall cloud and lowering, and there's still lowering going on, but usually you kind of see this shape to it, and there is still certainly a low cloud, and the lower that cloud is to the ground, the more you can get this kind of circulation that can occur and these funnels pop out. But not really seeing too much of that, and it's hard to tell from this view. But there's, in terms of the rotation, but it doesn't seem to be a very strong rotation occurring, at least in terms of the ground circulation. But there's certainly some little fingers trying to come out from the bottom of that cloud. David trying to get us a look there of the base of the cloud. But yeah, there's certainly still a base and a whole lot of water coming from this thing, as well as the possibility of some pretty large hail that could be occurring. So yeah, so there's a pretty good look at it. So thankfully, we can confirm there's no tornado ongoing, but certainly still a lowering, and that's right in the bear's cage, so they say, where all that hail's falling to, and going to be some very heavy rain ongoing, and that's heading toward Dike now. And going to continue to kind of ride along Highway 20. And so I know it's getting busy out there on the roads. If you are going to be heading home from work, or that a friend, a spouse, a partner, whatever, going to be heading home, I was just picking up the kids. So there are a lot of people on the street. And so especially Highway 20 there, heading toward Waterloo, going to start to get into the rain, going to start to get into these scary looking clouds here and these thunderstorms. And as Hazen mentioned, that tornado potential exists as well. And they're still warning this for a golf ball sized hail, which will trigger tornado sirens in some counties. So if you're hearing sirens, it could have been initially for that tornado threat. And then we also have the issue of the hail. So a twofold issue here. And yeah, certainly still lowering, still some potential with this storm that it's enough that we don't want to totally say it could be done. But we do also have this concern here with the hail, as I know Kaysen has surely been mentioning over and over, that in these pinks, it's not hard to point out, that is where the hail core is. And so this is likely getting into Dike now already, and could have some ping pong to golf ball sized hailstones. And then we do have the rain heading into areas around UNI, Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and such. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on the road camera too, because there's certainly still some lowering, and then there's this kind of inflow happening right here. There's a little notch in the radar on the reflectivity that could indicate the storm trying to wrap up a little bit as well. So just I was talking about this all morning, but when we have these storms, a lot of times the tornadoes kind of catch the headlines. When we have hail like this, you don't want to be close to the windows. You don't want to be on the exterior walls. You could have damage that happens, or windows that get broken. And it's the same thing. We want to treat it just like it's a tornado warning. So when we have these severe thunderstorm warnings, especially on the higher end, when we're talking about golf ball size hail or larger, that's why it triggers the sirens, because you need to be inside. You need to be still on the lowest level, away from the windows or an interior room, and be prepared for that potential. We could see these storms kind of wrap up again, but we have this considerable threat right now for the potential for golf ball size hail heading into Dike, heading along Highway 20. So it's going to be a rough ride if you're having to go along Highway 20. Do we have any, I don't know if there are any traffic cameras up this way. I know it's kind of tough going up around just until you get to the Waterloo area. But if we zoom out just to see, I know there's some other storms. There's a storm to the north that you were talking
it's
about.
Severe warn now.
Oh, so we have another severe thunderstorm warning. So this is around Allison, north of Parkersburg, that we do have for some for hail. So this is, what's that, ping pong, and just over a quarter in size. And so we do have just the west of Allison, where there's some heavy rain and the hail potential there up to around the size of ping pong balls. And that's going to be heading toward Highway 14, just around or south of Green. And this area is something too that we have the Cedar River up here by Green, and the continuation of seeing these heavy rainstorms is also going to be an issue in terms of some potential flooding. We'll certainly have to continue to watch on the rivers, and some localized flooding too. Saw it on Sunday as the rain just kept falling here in Cedar Rapids, ponding on the roads and such. So could see that become an issue. We have some heavy rain in Waverly and Janesville, and likely some lightning too. Tripola getting in on the rain, and then yeah, a whole lot of lightning. And then to the east, Olwine, we've got some good old-fashioned rain, and then Fayette and such, and northwest of Alcater there, east of West Union. and just north of Strawberry Point. And so nothing severe with these storms. And in fact, I'm curious almost, I have not looked recently, but where the warm front is, some of these storms are jumping north of the front itself. They may just be kind of out of some of that deeper instability and some of the ingredients for severe weather, but still some decent rain coming down and some lightning coming down as well. Something to keep in mind if kids are getting out of school. I know I saw a handful of places starting to cancel some outdoor activities, but you might see some more practices and sports things and all that starting up that could get canceled here for this evening. But is there anything else from the National Weather Service casing as of lately?
Nothing. No. They're continuing to just talk about the hail. There's been no other reports of, any sort of watching that storm in terms of the tornado threat. We haven't seen any other reports coming out of that. And obviously we got a good look at it now on what exactly is happening as meteorologist David Holtman is up that way in the road where he's kind of switching his spot a little bit. But yeah, these are just some very, very strong storms at the moment. They're dumping a lot of lightning. They've got a lot of hail on them. And that's a continued look at that storm that is now into eastern Grundy County here. Yeah, I would say for the moment, there's not like a well-defined, like sort of.
It's definitely. I mean, even just in the last 10 minutes,
yeah.
the kind of lowering is not as low anymore. It's definitely lifted a bit off the ground, and so that's a good sign. We don't want it too close to the ground. That's where we can run into issues. But certainly a whole lot of water coming out of that thing and some hail there, and then there's it may be partially the cell merger, but there's a bit of circulation to the northeast around Janesville, and that may be also some hail starting to form on just the northern side of that cell, kind of northwest of Waterloo. But it may just be kind of the cell merger and some upper level rotation and some hail that I'm seeing at least.
Yeah.
But there's the range folding. The radar's not being happy, so you can look at it on my phone.
Yeah.
It's just like right there.
I see what you're saying. Yep, up to the
around there. But Dike, oh my goodness, they haven't upped that, have they? The hail core looks worse on there on this one. But I may be. I'm also probably not. I'm a little far away.
Continuing to have it for.
Yeah, so I mean, we're still talking golf ball size hail moving right into the Dike area and heading toward Hudson. There's a dairy farm there. Hanson's Dairy Farm. And so just around and south of Highway 20, those are my landmarks, by the way. So we do have the potential to see some ping pong golf ball size hail out of this. And it looks like the hail tracker is showing at least quarters.
Yeah.
And we haven't gotten many other reports. Let's see. That is a video on my phone of the emergency manager sent a video in Butler County from Dumont. That's the storm to the north. Definitely putting down some, looks like peas and quarters, maybe a couple of ping pongs in there. I'll get this video over so we can show it, but I am at least watching it. So we have some reports that have come in too, and not sure what those ones are. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, these are the, these have been the 1.8 inch diameter, so a little bit bigger than golf ball size near the Holland area. That was at about 340. So we've had pretty consistent reports coming out of this, and this was another one near Wellsburg. Once again, a little bit bigger than golf ball sized hail. So that has been pretty consistent out of this storm here. Over the past 30 minutes or so. The storm is obviously now out of parts of western Grundy County, so Wellsburg towards Grundy Center, you're in the clear. This severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire, and these storms are far off to your east now, at least at this point. Man, I'm sure Dike is getting absolutely hammered right now because that is a nasty looking.
Yeah, that looks like it even picked up more with the hail there, and so. Did they issue a new one or they extended? No, that's the one up to the north.
They have not issued anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine there's some pretty large hailstones, and sometimes it is hard because we are seeing this from the radar kind of high up, so there could be some pretty large hailstones up at the top, and they're not all making it down to the ground, but sometimes that indication it could be some pretty large hail still. And when we're talking ping pongs, like that's some that could still do some damage.
Yeah.
And potentially even more than that. Are there any cameras in the area there?
It's just east of Dyke. You're
okay.
talking kind of towards
yeah, closer to the Cedar Falls.
Yeah,
and
closer to
Waterloo
Hudson
Metro.
Road, and yeah, closer to Hudson Road is where those cameras come in. It's getting close.
And David doesn't want to be close to this thing because you don't want to be in the hail. But we'll see if he ends up kind of coming along anything. Oh, that's my phone again. Sorry. But we do have. Yeah, we don't have currently a tornado threat. We do still have this considerable threat for the large hail going through the Dyke area and heading toward Waterloo. And I'm going to see if we get any additional reports coming in on the hail sizes there. But the video that I just saw was a storm up to the north, quarter size. Hail is also happening between Allison and Green, which we just talked about, and now they've just extended this one. So I know we're kind of hanging out here and talking about the same thing over and over, but this is kind of part of the reason why. And if you're in Black Hawk County, you're probably going to hear the sirens go off, and it's not for a tornado, it is for the hail. I do think Black Hawk County will sound them for the golf ball size hail, but this is for just very large hail. It could come down. We could potentially see some even higher amounts or larger stones, but at least for now we're talking at least ping pongs, and the National Weather Service probably waiting for some confirmation of some other reports to come in with this. But this would go into the Waterloo area. How fast are these things moving too?
It's about 35 miles an hour.
Doesn't seem too fast right now. But if we time this out, it's heading toward Waterloo and going to be at the Loves. And hey, good landmark there. About 10, 15 minutes and into the Waterloo, heart of Waterloo, 420. And then about Isle Casino, 420 as well. Elk Run Heights around 430, 440, 445 we'll call it for Jessup, and around 450 for Littleton. And this is Waterloo riding along the Highway 20 line here, where it intersects 218 and Highway 63, and right into, unfortunately, the city, where it seems that some of that hail is going to be going around Hudson and then into the Waterloo Metro, close to Dunkerton. And if you know that you have some peeps that are going to be out and about around the Waterloo area, would definitely encourage them to hang and wait for the storm to pass before driving out in it, because it's going to get nasty on the highway there as this continues to roll into the Waterloo Metro. Any reports that you have seen?
No other reports. Sorry, I was trying to work on making a little bit of a Facebook post here, but no other reports, at least at the moment here. They haven't been some of those hail that was back off into Butler County as well. Man, I'm kind of waiting to see what exactly those reports would be around Dyke or anything. If you live in Dyke or anything else, or know somebody who's there, might have some video, share it with us. We would like to see kind of what is going on there. Do it safely. Do not be out in this and dealing with that hail. But man, yeah, that right there. I mean, this is headed right towards Waterloo and Cedar Falls, where this could be coming in. I was going to look on social media to see if that, and I was also working on making a post on Facebook about the hail coming into Waterloo and Cedar Falls. So
yeah, absolutely. And we also do have a look at things from the road warrior of the storm, and it's going to look more like a scary looking cloud than anything, but there is, and it's hard because we're kind of now on the horizon, or looking out toward the horizon where there's hills and such, so hard to say how close exactly this is to the ground, but certainly still some signs of some lowering going on there. And
it's quite the look at things. Yeah.
Yes. And some detachment from the main cloud there, but we'll be keeping a close eye on it, and There's David's passing like all these storm chasers too. You can see a bunch of them. We know that there's a lot of attention drawn, unfortunately, when there's a potential for storms. But we do need to see what is happening at the ground level, because otherwise we don't know exactly what is happening. That's why we need the ground confirmation, and that's why we don't even know exactly how large the hail is. But you can also see to the top there, some of that, it's like the greenish glow at the tops of the clouds, and that's usually indicating some very heavy rain and some large hail that is ongoing there. So just a big old storm that is producing a whole lot of hail right now, and we'll see if David gets another look at things, and he's probably just trying to stay out of the way of the hail too. But there's more storm chasers. Look at everybody in their anemometers. But we'll go back. And there's some sunshine somewhere else. You know, you can just look off in the distance, and it looks a little nicer. But we'll go back to the radar, and we continue to see this large hail core that is riding along Highway 20 now. We might be able to see on some of those DOT cameras soon. Look at this storm and see what things look like as it approaches Waterloo Metro. And we could toss that one up. I mean, you have the Scan-Do scene?
Yes, I do. Give me just a second here.
It looks like maybe there's...
I think there might be a little bit of hail there starting to fall.
Ground.
Oh, that's my fault.
That's okay. If you hit the wrong button on that keyboard, it gets angry.
I know, that's what I'm scared about doing.
But this is Highway 20. This is just outside.
Oops.
Oh, see? Now we get to see the nice background. That's okay.
But, there you go. You get to look at...
Yeah, we got it. But this is... You can see the sunshine off in the distance. So storm approaching from the west, coming on in, and going to continue to bring in some heavy... or that's a look from the Road Warrior. That's going to bring in some heavy rain and hail with it. And we do have... David's look of things too from the Road Warrior there, and just a little gnarly looking storm, but not necessarily a lot of intense ground rotation, but there's certainly still a low cloud that is that's hanging around, that continues to hang around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's I mean, still a gnarly looking storm there as well. So just giving you a quick update here. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for you folks a little bit farther off to the north into parts of far west, kind of eastern Fayette County, excuse me, there, northern Clayton County, and then into Alameda County here. This storm has been ongoing a little bit here. Obviously, kind of a thunderstorm that could have 60-mile-per-hour winds, inch in diameter hail as kind of the main threats that we are looking at here. I'm noticing on that DOT camera now, quite a few people are pulling over, and it looks like there is obviously some hail that has been falling. It looks like it's starting to kind of set up on the ground a little bit as well from that view. So
can you get it on the Scan-Do scene?
Yeah, if you want to click that up, sorry.
Here.
Did you want a full screen? Yeah, that's what I was kind of waiting on.
There we go.
It also conveniently...
You can see people stopping.
And they're moving the camera around.
Yeah, they're moving the camera. You can see people stopping. I mean, really torrential rain's coming down now. And so this is just to the west of Waterloo on Highway 20. And there certainly were some hailstones we could see hitting the ground there. And it's... I would guess, you know, getting at least a bunch of quarters, maybe some golf ball size hail, and then could see a few larger stones that happen sometimes with this as well. And David's just trying to stay out ahead of this storm so we can continue to get a look at it, and he stays away from the hail as well. But this is just, the camera's rocking over here, and the rain coming down going to make it tough for people to see. That's likely why they're stopping. And then you have also, you know, the fun addition of the hail that can cause damage to your cars you're driving. So I was just going to see if the Weather Service had anything.
Yeah, go ahead. You can.
I have it on my phone too. I can
pull
check
it
out
back
what they're
up
saying.
there. I was just going to go back into reflectivity mode and just, yeah, you can see that this storm is continuing to pack a punch here into now. Basically, that hail core is now into western Black Hawk County, and it is working towards. I'll remove the lightning, a little bit easier to see. This is going to be like on top of kind of Hudson Road there. Obviously, that's the road that's going to send you up into the northern or University of Northern Iowa. The Unidome is right there as well. This is coming right that way, and it will be probably passing through parts of campus there, and then continuing to push a little bit further off to the east here. Eventually, this thing is kind of, that hail core is moving right towards like kind of downtown Waterloo. So I would not be surprised if we're going to have some damage up that way there, where that hail core is continuing to hold on, and we'll see what types of reports that we get out of that particular storm here. Once again, we've got these two other severe warned storms. This one in parts of Butler County here, continuing to move further off to the north. That's eventually going to be into Floyd County, but green towards Charles City area. Just a heads up for you, some big hail could be arriving your way as well. This particular storm is kind of moving more to the north and east. So Charles City, Chickasaw, that's going to be moving your way there as well. That will also make it into Chickasaw County there. And then we have that storms, those stronger storms back off into Clayton and eventually Alameda County. So continuing to monitor those and exactly what we're kind of looking at there. Have you seen anything from the National Weather Service?
No, they have not said anything really new here. So we do have all of these storms, and we have David on the south side of that one that's heading right into the Waterloo Metro, just near the Unidome, the University of Northern Iowa, and then we have a few cells that are developing back to the west as well. That is leading to, so, just the potential that we could see some more storms developing. And David still has a look at this thing, and there's certainly some lowering going on. This is still that storm around the Waterloo area. He's just turning. Oh, he was just turning to get another, I think, have to turn down the road, and he had it on the camera, and now he's out of the view. But you can see there's still sunshine going on, and so there's still instability out ahead of this storm. And then there's a farm.
He's going to give us a view right here. Oh, maybe not.
I think, yeah, I was trying to get the camera back around. And so, yeah, there you go. So we do have, it seems like a little bit of the wall cloud on the kind of left side of your screen there, and then we have the just really dark clouds going on, and a lot of hail and some heavy rain coming out of this storm. We could see it on a DOT camera as well, and potential for there to still be some circulation and something to certainly watch with that lowering there. So going to still keep an eye on that. And we already had reports of some ground circulation and possible tornado with this storm, and it's a possibility that it could still cycle and spin back up. It's just going to depend on the rotation, and sometimes you can get something to kick in there on the south side that can lead to it kind of wrapping back up. So that's what we'll be keeping an eye on there. But the main concern with this storm currently is going to be that hail threat. And you can just also see the water that's coming out of that storm.
Yeah, so that hail threat pretty much right into Cedar Falls and Waterloo right now. Haven't seen anything. Still, I've been watching kind of and looking at the velocity signatures. I'm not seeing any kind of crazy signatures on there that would represent a tornado. Obviously, David is right on that right now as he's kind of looking at that particular storm. And yeah, it's still got kind of like a little bit of a ragged lowering there. And maybe obviously there's still moisture and inflow is feeding into this particular storm as well. So
that big thing lowering down, it's usually scud. It's usually like it's scary looking cloud is what we call it. The SLCs, but not really, it's not rotating, and there's not a sign of an actual funnel or anything, but it's a scary looking cloud. So that's the good news. The good news is that we know that there's not the issue currently, but there is still a little bit of a look to the storm on reflectivity at times that could indicate there could be some rotation. So I think here's what we'll do. We do have the still concern for golf ball size hail heading into the Waterloo metro area. And then, yeah, if we go back to Max 1, we do have, obviously, those warnings up to the north. And then this is what I was also looking at, Kason, that you've got down here. We have some cells that are popping up with some lightning. And so there's some storms that are starting to develop further down to the south. And the kind of question is, how much do these, actually develop? The Weather Service earlier was saying that they were just not really seeing the development happen with these storms. They were kind of struggling a bit. And part of the reason has to do with the warm air that's up above right now. And so when we have that warmer air, it creates what's known as a cap. It essentially puts a lid on the atmosphere. And that's like if you take a pop bottle and you shake it up, you know that it's going to be ugly if you take the lid off. But if you leave it for long enough, it simmers down and it all fizzles out. And so if you watch me, you've heard me say that a couple of times now and again. But that's exactly what's kind of happening, where there's some potential inside the atmosphere and it's trying, but then it reaches a certain point, it reaches that warm air and then it gets shut down. And we're kind of seeing that down to the south here. But if some of these storms are able to overcome it, unfortunately, there's still a lot of energy in the atmosphere that could create, once again, these stronger storms that we're seeing up to the north. And so this is certainly something to watch. And even seeing some lightning back to the west here as well, kind of popping up a little bit around Conrad. And then we have these storms that are really the main focus of the mess right now, with the potential for golf ball size hail as we go into the Waterloo metro. And that is a little bit of a better look than what it had in terms of hopefully some less hail that's happening. And unfortunately, though, going toward the Unidome, Waterloo, and just south of the Waterloo airport. And then we do have the heavy rain that extends from that as well. And then up to the northeast, we do have as well the other storm that got warned there that is for quarter size hail. So that's your baselines of your thunderstorm. And then the one to the north was, I think, just ping pong size hail. And I was coming to see if there were any reports. In Greene, Butler County reporting some golf ball size hail.
Yep. Yeah, there.
And
that storm has had a pretty good hail core on it as well, passing right through Greene. I mean, this is a very similar looking hail core to the one that's coming through Waterloo and Cedar Falls right now. So that's dumping quarters, greater than at least quarters, and then it's dumping probably ping pongs or potentially greater as well. So Greene, and then eventually into Floyd County there. We're going to be talking, Charles City area, where you'll be dealing with some of that that hail as well. But so we've gotten multiple hail reports here over the past couple of minutes, obviously, and it's going to be a concern here with these storms.
Golf ball size hail in Greene right now, which is very relevant to what you were saying. So.
Yeah. So that Greene, you kind of just dealt with it right now. We're kind of flopping radars in this area, but that pretty much went right over top of Greene and is working. This storm is working almost due north or northeast at the moment. So Charles City, that's going to be headed your way. You're going to be dealing with lots of lightning, hail, damaging hail potentially with those ping pong ball size. There's even a little bit of a hail core back off into Butler County, kind of east of Allison now near Clarksville. We're starting to see at least some indicators of maybe some hail there. So that could potentially grow in intensity a little bit. And then this storm is still holding its own here into the Waterloo area. That severe thunderstorm warning was just shortened, but looks like, you're starting to kind of see that move through those areas right now. I'm sure that there will be pictures, and obviously there will be damage probably out of the some of this hail that will be falling in parts of central Blackhawk County.
If you want to pull up the Scan-Do. This is video from the emergency manager in Butler County, and this is, some nickels, quarters. A couple look a little bit larger, but this was filmed in Dumont, and so that northern storm around kind of the Allison area that we were watching there, and you can see some a good amount of hailstones coming down. And this isn't even the best kind of or the biggest really hail core that we've seen, but a decent amount of hail coming down and at some pretty high velocities as well, coming down pretty fast, and that can do damage. Even though they're the smaller stones, even if we're not talking about like softball size hail or the baseball size hail, it can still lead to, of course, the damage and some dings and dents in cars and such. So something to certainly just kind of be on the lookout for. This is what you're going to be seeing with these storms, and then in some of them it could be some slightly stronger storms as well. So this is going into Waterloo. That's something else I was going to see if you want to get back to the radar,
yeah,
and then I was going to see if we had some cameras around Waterloo, because my concern and the reason why we're also hanging here a bit is because we have, a considerable hail threat going into the Waterloo Metro, and all this hail coming down there. So I'm going to see if we have any cameras that are showing anything going on. Yeah, this one, there's certainly some hail happening on this camera. Let's see if we can pull this one up. This is just around Waterloo on the western side. If you want to go back to the Scandu scene again, but yeah, we still have the hail coming down. Still have that golf ball size report there, and you can kind of see it's hard to see. There's not as many people driving right now, but the rain is certainly coming down pretty hard, and we do have also the hail happening at the moment. Let's go back to the Road Warrior 2, and David is out here watching this storm, and he is just following it south, and he's southeast or southwest rather of the Waterloo area, and there's still some lowering and it looks like a little bit more of a defined wall cloud, I'd say, compared to what we saw earlier that's going on there. And so what we're talking about at this point is that there's a lowering of the main thunderstorm cloud, and so that's kind of like the precursor. It's like 2 steps before we get to a tornado. And so that lowering that you're seeing kind of right at on the right side of the screen is where we do have some of that lowering that could be rotation, and it's going to be right in this area here. This wall cloud's happening, and then you'll see a funnel come out of that, and then a tornado would happen next if there's enough rotation. However, that does not seem to be the case currently, but there is still certainly some lowering, some rotation going on with the hail falling, and then there could be, if the rotation were to pick up, the possibility of a tornado happening once again here. And Casey, are you seeing anything in terms of the spin on this storm at all, or not really?
Noting some broad rotation, kind of aloft a little bit, and we've been kind
which would be hailed,
which could be that as well. This hail core is very, very strong. Obviously, we're getting some reports now out of Waterloo, golf ball size hail near Hudson Road and Highway 20. So that was right there. If you're headed to University of Northern Iowa, there kind of through the campus area, that is exactly where that kind of moved through. This is now pretty much in the heart of Waterloo here. This is obviously the big concern, and I'm looking at one of the pictures off to my left right now, and this is clearly a golf ball, if not maybe a little bit bigger than that. So
we can pop the picture up.
Yeah. We can kind of show you. Yep, here.
This is from the Hudson Road and Highway 20. And then we also had hail reports from Cedar Falls, Blaine's Farm Store on Viking Road, Pea-size hail by Cedar Wapsie, and also pea-size. So seeing some smaller hail in that area, but that's definitely a larger hailstone that happened there. Yeah,
that's the big stuff right there. That's the big stuff that was falling, and we saw it. Obviously, radar was showing that clearly on what exactly we were looking at there. So that storm continuing to pack a punch here, that is moving through Black Hawk County. We've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings now, and that new one is now on that kind of area, that core. We've just got hail all over the place right now. So this is a brand new warning that's going to go until 4:45. That does cover Butler County and then parts of Bremer County. That will be working into, so towards Plainfield, eventually Bremer, and north of Waverly. So luckily north of Waverly, you're going to see most of the hail go off to your north, but that's continuing to have a northeast track as well. So multiple tornado warnings, and right now the big concern is obviously the hail that we are seeing here across the area. It looks like big time hail up into Floyd County, and then that'll eventually get into Chickasaw County as well. That hail core looks pretty massive. I know we're kind of far away from
the radar site
sites, but
yeah.
Still.
Yeah, so inch and a half. You're talking ping pong. They said that they set the sirens off in Butler County for the hail, because in Greene they were seeing hail that was a little bit bigger than golf balls. So this storm around Waterloo has had some reports of golf ball size hail, and then we also have up here near Greene, getting into Chickasaw, Floyd counties, some reports of larger than golf ball size hail, and just south of Charles City near Nashua and such. And then that's kind of lining up on the hail tracker too, and unfortunately continuing to the northeast. And then we have the other storm down to the south of there, and they're all just kind of smushed together here between Clarksville and Shell Rock toward Waverly, Plainfield, Frederica. Tripola's kind of just getting right in the middle there. But that storm could produce some ping pongs. And yeah, we continue to have meteorologist David Holtman in the Road Warrior, and he's still keeping an eye on this thing that does have some lowering still, and there's not necessarily a lot of tight rotation ongoing, but certainly a wall cloud. There's a lot of there are a lot of storm chasers out and about, and I think the Weather Service is seeing some communication. It almost looks like there's a little bit of a funnel coming out, but it's hard to tell. Like right on this side, if I could get to the wall. Oh, and now some trees, but it's hard to say for sure. But there's almost like a secondary area of lowering and like a little bit of a funnel maybe peeking out. And so just certainly something to watch closely here, and a big old storm that's going on. I was seeing a little bit right around here of maybe a funnel trying to peek out, and sometimes you get these little satellite kind of tornadoes or little funnels that can poke out a bit, but not seeing anything that is necessarily imminent currently, but definitely some lowering still ongoing with this storm, and you can see the extent of it. I mean, if we could see the whole extent of this big storm, it's going to extend for a while, and it's could have some modest clouds, some of those bubbly clouds underneath after the hail passes by and the storm passes by, due to the colder air from that. So large hail coming out of this storm that David is also on, watching the possible ongoing potential for a tornado, but then the hail remains our main concern here, with the possibility of some golf ball size hail.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of going and perusing through some of the cameras up in Waterloo, and looks like some of these, some fairly significant sized hail that is falling, but a lot of it's kind of covering the ground in a lot of spots, and these cars are kind of driving through it. And that would be pretty much, you're talking Highway 63 there is where I've been looking at some of those cameras. So anywhere there to the what would it be? That would be, so we've got the river there. Yeah, so basically now that core is moving off to the east side of Waterloo here, pretty much to the, I would say probably the east side of kind of the Cedar River at that point now. So it's starting to kind of move out of Waterloo, but there's still quite a bit of hail falling on some of these DOT cameras. Not only large hail, but quite a bit of hail that has fallen. And some of these cameras, that one's loading up now. I've been seeing kind of stills on some of these cameras here, like
with hail on the ground.
That, yeah, and some of them haven't been loading, but you can see just the amount of hail in that picture.
Here, you want me to make it full screen for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
And you can pull up the camera.
And we'll just kind of show you here what has been kind of going on. So you can see all of that sort of hail not only on the road, but kind of in the grassy areas there.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of it that has fallen. So kind of looks.
Those look like some big.
And those are pretty big. Yeah,
I mean, they're hitting the ground.
There's certainly some big ones that have been bouncing around as well, and you can see it's kind of leading to some kind of little street flooding there, even some ponding of water on the roadways because of the amount of hail and everything else. So that's what we've been dealing with.
Oh, we've been getting some pictures on social media.
Yeah, and I was going to say that as well underneath that post. There is a few.
I gotta go get some. I'll see if I can get some of these pictures. Where was this? And yeah, so Cedar Falls, some big hail, looks like bigger than a golf ball. They're the spiky kind, and that does not surprise me. So some big hail coming down, and really, I know, we've been seeing fewer people maybe kind of on the roads recently, and hopefully holding out for this storm to go by. It's not moving terribly fast, but it will pass you by, and I think it would be better than trying to go out in this. And I was talking about this earlier with David. We saw last week when that storm went through down to the south and produced a tornado. It also had that large hail with it, and there was a picture of a kid who had gone out, who was outside and has welts from the hailstones. You do not want to be out in that. So, so yeah, let's just hang and wait for this thing to pass.
And I mean, you can see here, this is just kind of like the last 2 hours or so of the hail that has been falling, and it has just been consistently really since Eldora, and it has tracked across the northern or central parts of kind of Grundy County there, and has continued to put out very, very big hail. I've seen some of those pictures that we had on the post there of it being probably greater than golf ball size, has some of the spikes. The updrafts within these storms are very, very strong and able to kind of maintain some of this hail for a long time as it kind of goes up and down and then before it eventually falls. So we've got kind of weird looking hail obviously as well, but this is starting to get out of Waterloo now at the moment. At least that hail, which has moved through Cedar Falls and Waterloo, that's getting a little bit further to the east now. This is going to be kind of along 281 there as that kind of makes the curve up towards Dunkerton and then into Waterloo. So between Evansdale and then north to Dunkerton, that's where that hail core is currently situated at in Black Hawk County. Not forgetting about you folks off to the north here. Man, there's some big hail within, I think that Floyd County storm is going to have some big hail as well, right there, just to the south and east of Charles City. More of the same. You're talking. This is now a considerable severe thunderstorm. This is, I think, has actually been upgraded.
Yeah, it has been.
So now this is also for ping pong ball size. Wouldn't be surprised if we see any storms see any hail that is bigger than that. That's certainly possible on the south sides of Charles City over towards Carville and then Chickasaw as well. That eventually gets into Chickasaw County there, and then we've still got that severe thunderstorm warning off into Clayton County, Alameda County, and Fayette County. A little bit of a hail core there in Fayette County, south of Clermont, and then east of West Union. We're seeing a little bit of hail there as well. I kind of wanted to expand this out because I wanted to look back off to the south again. I'm trying to watch some of these storms as well that are starting to fire. Tama, starting to get a little noisy there. Now, we've got some thunderstorms that are developing off to the south now of kind of this cluster of storms that has been kind of the main threat here today with the hail. And obviously it did produce a tornado over in Hardin County. But Tama, you've got this storm here now that is starting to work its way close to you. This is Tama County. It's going to be moving into Tama here.
Yeah,
quite a bit of lightning on it, but this could be sort of that next round of storms that we'll be closely watching here. There's more storms and showers back off to the south in Powesheik County. So that's going to be a lot to watch. And in Grundy County, once again, here you go. You've got another thunderstorm that is starting to kind of pop up. This is south of Grundy Center here. So has some lightning on it. Obviously, those aren't severe, but these will be storms that we're going to be closely monitoring over the next couple of hours in terms of what that threat could be for storms. And then we've even got more storms back off to the west, close to the I-35 corridor and Story City and Ames, where we'll have more storms out that way that are starting to kind of kick off here as we head just after 4:30. So.
And I know that there's going to be some sirens being heard because of the hail. And the Black Hawk emergency manager, Mindy, amazing gal, she said set off the outdoor sirens for Hawkeye Community College and Gilbertville. And that's on that, yeah, oh gosh, that's this storm here, because this is the large hail. Okay, take the scan-do.
Scan-do?
Scan-do. Okay. Look at this.
We're going to show you some of this hail.
You don't want this. You don't know. I mean, I know nobody wants it, and you don't want to be out in this. This is what I really want to.
Yeah, that's
I really want to
stuff.
say that this is huge. This is I think probably a little larger than golf balls, because what's the 2 inches gets the hen egg, I think. So we're close at that point. And then we do have another picture here. It's from the Butler County Emergency Management. That's some big hail.
Oh, yeah, that's bigger
that
than
came down. This is around the Green area, and we have some more pictures that have been coming in too. And I'm also watching the Road Warrior. I mean, it's hard to tell if it's a little scuddy, if there's a little funnel trying to come down in terms of rotation, but there's certainly some more of those like kind of fingers coming out of this storm. And that just doesn't want to go away. Some of that kind of circulation there does not totally want to go away. But we also have just the well, there's some lightning, but we also just have the lowering still going on, and you can see some of the circulation, some of the rotation happening, but it's not necessarily very violent rotation at the moment. But there's some rain falling with the Road Warrior now. Hopefully not hail. But those are some big hailstones. And so that's this is the reason why you see these thunderstorms. And we can go back to Max 2, because I do want to track this storm. Can we put a fan on this? Max 1. Sorry, I didn't mean Max 2. I don't know why I said that. But we can put a fan on this one. This is between Raymond and Dunkerton, around Gilbertville. Could have some of the hail falling down this way as well toward Jessup. And then can we extend this out? This would be hail the size of eggs. Nobody even wants an egg falling.
I'm trying to just check in on what the oh my goodness.
The speed
of the storm is.
It's probably still going. It's going at it's chugging along.
35.
35 miles per hour. And so we have this heading toward the Jessup Independence area, riding Highway 20. And so if you see a severe thunderstorm warning and you're like, no, it's not it's still a storm. It's still a powerful storm, even though it's not a tornado. You want to take the same precautions. You want to go into an interior room. You want to stay, you don't necessarily have to be on the lowest level, but you do want to stay away from the windows when we're talking about these storms, because if the windows break and then you could get hurt, you can have then debris getting tossed around with the wind coming in from this storm. And we've seen it time and time again recently with these storms that have produced the large hail. And this is eggs. Everybody knows what an egg looks like. An egg, but it's all ice coming down from the sky. That is going to do some damage. It's going to hurt. It's going to, put some dents in the car, if not crack some windshields potentially if it's coming down hard enough. And around Littleton about now, Otterville 444 in about 10 minutes, Hazleton about the same. And at Aurora, I don't know, I was going to say something else. I was going to put the Z from Hazleton in there, but Aurora around 5 o'clock, Lamont around 5:05, and then Backbone State Park, beautiful park, 5:15, as you're heading to the east there. And we have Quasqueton, Independence, Winthrop, all these areas. You're going to get into some of the heavier rain with this storm, and also could be some smaller hail, but the larger hail ongoing in these pinks here, that it's riding just near and north of Highway 20, and going to be some pretty torrential downpours happening along with that. We've seen a lot of people, on those cameras that were pulling off to the sides of the road and such, and some large hail that was on the ground too. So that you don't want to travel. I know it's getting to the time where people are having to leave for work and wanting to get home, but if you can hang and let this pass in like 10, 15 minutes, that's going to be for the best.
Yes. So I'm just kind of been looking through. There are multiple reports of 2-inch in diameter hail, or at least golf ball size hail from Cedar Falls and the Waterloo area in Black Hawk County. We're continuing to see that area. We're in a point where we're kind of I'm flip-flopping between radars at this point here, so I'm struggling with that a bit. But we've still got that hail core that is south of Dunkerton right now, is going to be moving into Buchanan County here. So continuing to stay kind of just north of Highway 20. Is where we will have that hail that is going to be moving through. Now, I would say that that hail core, well, as we're flopping between radars here, this hail core has been pretty consistent at the moment here, dumping tons of hail into Black Hawk County. We've got obviously more thunderstorms a little bit further to the north of this that have produced quite a bit of hail as well, especially now moving kind of out of Floyd County into Chickasaw County there. So west of New Hampton, you're talking Chickasaw and Deerfield, where this hail is currently falling. Big time hail up that way as well. Ping pong ball size, could have some hail that's a little bit greater than that. That hail core still looks very, very impressive up that way. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning into, we're talking Chickasaw County as well, and Bremer County, northern parts of Bremer County, southern Chickasaw County, just northern parts of Bremer County, there. This hail core does not look quite as impressive anymore. It certainly has come down a little bit over the past, I would say 15 to 20-ish minutes, but obviously heavy rain, quite a bit of lightning still ongoing with those storms there. But that hail continues to be a problem into Black Hawk County. And then off to the south, we'll kind of see what happens here. Once again, we've got some of these storms that are kind of firing a little bit further to the south and west of kind of this main storm. This storm has had quite a bit of storms merge into it here, so we could be seeing that take off again, but there's a little bit of a thunderstorm near Hudson now in Black Hawk County. And then Grundy Center, you're going to be looking at a thunderstorm now moving in from your south, not severe, but we'll have some lightning, some heavy rain, potentially a little bit of hail as well. I'm starting to see a little bit of a hail core there starting to develop on that storm, which is not warned, but obviously will be certainly a concern. And then we're still monitoring these storms. We're getting a lot of these storms now starting to fire off to the south here. This would be south of Highway 20. That these storms are starting to take off a little bit. They're getting their ducks in a row where there's lightning, potentially some smaller sized hail and some heavy rain. Not much of a severe threat at the moment, but that will definitely be changing there. So,
whoa, I'm getting some
big
pictures, some big hail photos. One was a child's holding it, so it's hard to tell. But no, some of these look like we're getting to like.
That looks like.
Almost baseballs.
I was going to say at least like tennis ball. That one looks like right there.
Is tennis ball bigger than a baseball?
I think it's a little smaller. I thought tennis ball was smaller.
Maybe it is. No. Yes, a tennis ball is slightly smaller than a baseball. 2.5.
Got
not
it right.
To the 2.75. You got it. I'm trying to talk and type. That's all we're trying to do.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes.
So this severe thunderstorm warning now into Chickasaw County is a destructive thunderstorm.
That's baseballs.
So now we're talking baseball size hail. I'm not sure. I can look on my phone too. I'm assuming there's been a radar indicated. Okay. I was wondering if there had been a report out of that. So
let's see. They're saying Crawford County. This would be in La Crosse. They did get a report from the airport in Charles City. So I'll show you this picture here.
Okay.
I'll pull it up. Yep, I got it.
Okay.
I'm going to show, I got some more hail pictures.
Yeah.
And if we had a report, Charles City, they're just about 2 inches in diameter.
Yeah, we'll give you a look
here.
We'll give you a look at this right here.
Look
this
at
is
that.
from the emergency. What is this? Yeah,
Floyd
emergency
County
manager.
Emergency Management. So that's just over 2 inches in diameter.
It's almost 2 1/4 there, just about. It's getting close to it. So yeah, that's very large hail, and this was
Charles City.
This was Charles City. So
near the airport. This was the concern today, that we were going to see hailstones like this. And a lot of it, and unfortunately that is coming a bit to fruition right now with all of these storms that are coming through. So destructive and storms that can really, this is where the cars start to get severely damaged. Your homes can get damaged, windows can get busted easily, buildings, the siding and all of that. And so while once again, this is not a tornado concern right now, we do have the we do have the big concern for hail and just a very large zone of hail right now. What I'm trying to do is, I mean, we can talk about it all day, but I think these pictures are what's really going to do it justice to be able to say, hey, this is what it looks like, and this is what is coming. And haven't seen any pictures of damage necessarily yet, but these have been some large hailstones. This one is from Cedar Falls. If you want to go back.
Yep, I'll pop that back up here.
This is from Brian Lee. He has a golf ball for size, and it's larger than golf balls. So we do have some very large hail that's coming down, unfortunately, and continuing to see this occur to the north and east, the Waterloo area. So if you're hearing sirens go off, it's not always a tornado threat. It's the hail threat that is the concern, because you don't want to be outside. You don't want to be driving in this. You want to be in the inside of your home, in an interior room, and away from the windows, and not trying to look out at this or be near the window and then it smashes in your face. That does not sound like a fun time, because that kind of hail is gonna smash some windows, unfortunately. And we have some wind coming with it too. So you have the wind driving some of the hail down too, and it can this would tear up some corn if we had corn in the fields, but we thankfully don't.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've had just quite a few already this year of hail events that have been ongoing. We had, a little bit earlier on in Iowa City and south sides of Cedar Rapids had some larger hail. I think was that back in February, or was that March? One of the two. Month or two ago, we had some more of that hail, and so destructive thunderstorm continues here. This is Chickasaw County. We've now got this area where that hail is at, south of Deerfield, north of Chickasaw, and west of North Washington. So we'll just kind of hop in here. You've got Highway 18. You've got, that would be Gilmore Avenue, and then 140th Street. That's really where this hail is coming down. You're talking at least ping pong ball size, could have tennis balls to baseball sized hail. This is a destructive thunderstorm. Make sure you are getting inside a sturdy shelter and protecting yourself, staying away from kind of those maybe westerly windows where we could have some of that wind-driven hail there as well. But just wanted to keep you updated on that, because we've seen big-time hail in parts of Charles City as this moved through Floyd County. And as this, as it moved through Floyd County and now is getting into Chickasaw County, the northwestern portion. So big time and big hail that is currently ongoing there. And we've still got very, very large hail out of this storm. Now, we can call an all clear here to Waterloo and Cedar Falls. You're out of the severe thunderstorm warning. However, there is a storm now back off to the south, to your south here, kind of riding along Highway 20, that does have a little bit of small hail that is falling near the Hudson area. This is probably going to be going towards the Isle Casino there as well, and obviously out that way you've got the water park, you've got the theme park there as well. Luckily, we're not in season completely for that yet, so that's good news. We're not going to have people out there who are having to shelter in place, but that's coming your way. We'll kind of see what happens here if this cell to the south wants to merge into that cell, the strong storm that has been ongoing as this kind of works its way further to the north and east. And we'll see what kind of happens there. We've had this storm really have quite a bit of merging taking place, but this still has just a really well-defined hail core on it here. They have dropped the hail sizes on it down to about 1 3/4 inches here, so it's not warned for 2 inches, but near Jessup and near Independence, Otterville, Bryansburg, and then along, that'd be 150 there. That is 150, Highway 150 in Buchanan County. That's not going to be a fun drive to the north of Independence up towards Hazleton, and then eventually getting into Olwine there. Not a fun drive. If you can pull over, try and get inside a business in one of the towns and kind of protect yourself from potentially dangerously large hail that is falling out of that storm there. So that's kind of been the storm that has had a lot of different reports coming out of it. We've had a lot of pictures. You guys have been generous in sending those in. I'll actually take a look at some of the storm reports here over the past couple of hours. Yeah, a lot in Waterloo. All of these are basically hail at the moment. We did have that tornado report back in Hardin County near Eldora. So the storm has produced that. That was kind of early on in the life cycle of this storm. It has taken quite a bit of hail now, or it's produced quite a bit of hail. And then this storm up near Charles City, I'm going to just check in on some of these hail reports. I'm just kind of curious to see. That was 1.8. That was 2 inches. Okay, so that was kind of sort of the same thing that we were seeing from Charles City there. Oh, that's how we got golf ball to baseball size hail in Charles City of 2.8 inches. So that's how we got to getting that destructive thunderstorm on that. So that's where we got those reports. We've had a lot of reports coming in there so far as these storms continue to roar their way off to the north and east with a well-defined hail core there. Plenty of activity off to the south now.
I was going to bring that up because there have been some people on the Facebook stream asking, what about Cedar Rapids and Iowa City? And, you know, what we've seen with these storms is that they quickly start to bubble up. And yeah, you need a little drink there. We've been talking for a bit. I was trying to get some updates to his social media. Go for it. He's drinking water, really healthy.
Mr. Pibb is so good.
I've never had it, but we do have some storms here around Vinton, Blairstown, north of Williamsburg, and these are not severe warned yet. But what I was going to say was that we've seen these storms really bubble up really quickly, and so quickly we could turn into a situation with the heavy rain and the hail starting to fall, and you can see kind of these little spots where it's starting to get a little deeper red and some pinks, and then that's going to indicate that there's the possibility of some hail. And not much showing up right now. Could be some peas, maybe you're getting that, if anything, but it is warm, so a lot of that smaller stuff will start to melt before it gets down to the ground. But we do have some heavy rain, some lightning starting to show up, and if you have any outdoor plans, I know my kiddos, all their practices got canceled. Also very muddy fields. This is not going to help the situation.
We had a lot of rain, man.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain.
And you folks off to the north, you guys have had quite a bit of rain as well up there. Had some flooding on the some of the rivers.
Some Cedar.
Cedar, they kind of rose up quite a bit.
There was a lot of lightning. And that is on that storm that
David's still on there. He's still tracking.
Yeah. And this is
that
the Road
hail core
Warrior.
is just...
And it's been dark. We should just send David. David just has to go behind the storm now to go see the hail.
It's like a little bit of that milky color in there, sort of maybe as well as I'm trying to look at it, kind of maybe indicating some of that, where that maybe hail core is at for the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit depending on where the camera's, located. So. We kind of been dealing with some of those milkier colors there, an indication of that hail. That hail in Buchanan County is near Jessup, Littleton, Otterville. I mean, it's falling on you right now. So you're going to be dealing with that. Independence, this hail core may stay a little bit farther to the north of you, but given how large it has been, make sure you're just getting inside. I don't know if the car is maybe not the best place to be. Prefer you inside of a strong, well-built structure, just with how strong this has been. Still dealing with some hail now back off. This is back to the south and west of this storm and south of Waterloo. This is starting to come up a little bit as well. It has a hail core just passing over the Isle Casino, and this is kind of coming up on the Highway 20 380 interchange there to the west of the Waterloo, and really east of Waterloo in the Evansdale area where that is at. And we've still got that destructive thunderstorm that has now been extended up into maybe parts of Howard County now. So Chickasaw County, this is starting to get out of there, but Deerfield, Alta Vista, you're dealing with those very, 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 very large hail. We've had at least baseball size reported out of this storm for the moment. So we've just got hail all over the place, and I'm sorry that we've been kind of repeating ourselves about the hail that has been falling. I know it kind of gets boring when you hear it, but this has been damaging hail that we've seen that has been very large. Tons of pictures that have been coming in. Luckily, obviously, one of the bigger threats today has been that possibility of a tornado. Just not seeing that at the moment, especially out of this storm that has produced a tornado more than likely back in Hardin County. There hasn't been much in the way of really rotation, at least for the moment. We've been watching David's live stream here. We could pull up the Road Warrior once again. Let's take a look at kind of the storm. He continues to track this storm here, and I believe he is continued to stay on. It looks like he's probably on. He's on Highway 20. He's on Highway 20. It looks like, or at least somewhere close to that in southeast. In southern Buchanan County there.
Yeah,
so
he's just south of Highway 20.
He's continuing to look at this storm here, and very tough to kind of tough to see from the vantage point that he is looking at from the moment. There's trying to see here as well, and then we're stuck behind the trees here, but not a whole lot that is clearly visible on this particular shot.
Oh,
and
now there's a tornado.
Now I was starting to wonder here because I saw the velocity really come up here.
Let's go back to Max really quick because he does not have necessarily a good view of anything that we can see actively. I do want to just make sure we know, everybody knows where this is at. So tornado warning, Jessup, Independence, and it includes Winthrop. This is north of Quasqueton. And now this is for a tornado. And so let's go back to David also now, just so we know we have an idea what's going on. So Jessup near Otterville, there is a funnel.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There is a funnel. So if there's a tornado, that's it. Hard to say if it's coming down to the ground, but we possibly see a tornado right now on the ground, or at least getting very close to the ground. So here's the funnel here. Right here, there's another little one extending, and if we can see any sort of ground circulation or anything getting kicked up, I mean, it would be happening right here. And so we do have a view of this. It's a kind of an odd looking one, but definitely certainly lowering and some rotation, some signs that we could be seeing it. And it's a little hard with the contrast. Maybe lifting back a little bit from what we just had, but definitely could be. And if there's a tornado, you would see it right here. It's happening. This is live from the Road Warrior, and he is south of this storm, riding south on Highway 20, and this is just around the Jessup area. And so certainly a little bit of, I think I can see a little bit better here, defined wall cloud and funnel, and we'd possibly be seeing a tornado happening right here. And this would be, oh, there's a cloud to ground lightning strike there. This would be close to the Jessup area. I would say, where is he located? He's kind of back to the west a bit, because I was going to say this looks like Littleton is potentially where we could be seeing that circulation. And there's maybe more of the definition of the funnel here and possible tornado coming down.
Yeah. So so right now he's a little bit, he's still kind of like west of this storm, but he's got a good shot on it there. He's south of Highway 20 actually.
Yeah.
He's on
south of Highway 20.
South of Highway 20, to the south and east of Jessup, and still he's west of kind of like Independence and then the Walmart area and all of that, where you can get off of Highway 20 there and everything. So he's got a decent shot. So that would be kind of looking more to the, I believe, kind of like northeast-ish a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little fuzzy there, but we do have the possibility here of a tornado. Has the weather service, I didn't even see what the weather service said. We've been on this storm. We've been telling you that we could possibly be seeing things pick back up. The hail threat is still there. So hail is still a concern. And then on top of that, we could be dealing with a tornado as well. And if it's happening, we'll be able to see it happening. And there seems to be, it's really hard to say because of the deeper colors, but could be some extension of it. And at times, kind of catching some glimpses of what could be a funnel coming down to the ground. And then we have to just kind of look down and see if we're getting any debris or dust kicked up. And that's also hard to say. We do have some pretty wet fields down, grounds that maybe kind of saturated, not kicking up quite as much as we'd see when it's dry. But you can also see kind of this, as Casey was saying, kind of that milky color. There's a lot of lightning. There's this kind of greenish hue, and that's also where all the hail and the heavy rain is falling. And then we have this issue here of the tornado threat and that possibility. If we could put a box and we can see the radar as well, so we can see an idea of kind of what's happening. Thank you so much. We do have the storm producing some large hail that could still be they have 2 inches on this, so that could be, that's egg size hail.
Egg, yep.
And then you have the possibility of a tornado as well, and this is for Independence. It does have Quasqueton in it and Winthrop, and the Independence area right where we have Highway 150 and Highway 150, but Highway 150 running through Highway 20, and that is about where the circulation would be getting close to at the moment. And then, Kason, anything from the National Weather Service as to what the reasoning? So
they went. There was a little bit of an uptick in the rotation that was kind of near Jessup.
Yeah.
That was a little bit earlier on, and so they're still seeing rotation on this from this particular storm.
We know the storm chasers are around.
Increasing on the storm. So yeah, I was kind of looking at this earlier, and that's why I was trying to look at David's shot, because I saw there was a little bit of an uptick in the velocity and kind of a couplet. But yeah, right now would be sort of east of Independence here, as you can kind of, or excuse me, west of Independence.
Yes.
That would be potentially where we could see maybe where this tornado kind of pops up at.
Yeah, so you're seeing kind of that bright green that Kason's talking about, just west of Independence. I know it's in that smaller box there, but I do want to keep David's shot up, and just so we can see if something were to happen. And so yeah, he's circling it there. So that's just west of 150, north of Highway 20, where the circulation is showing up, and this is, you know, continuing to move to the east. And so David's given us a great shot of this here, and if something is to happen, then we would know. But this is why we have David out there. We have storm chasers to give us a look at these storms so we can know what's happening. But the greatest thing about this is that now you have this warning to go into your basement, into the lowest level. We are streaming on Facebook. If you have to walk away from the TV, you can go to Iowa's News Now on Facebook. You can watch us there. You can get us wherever you are, and you will still get the warning, and you can see what's happening here. Is now we are looking at this storm entering the Independence area on the northern side of town. Likely some large hail, could be egg-sized ice falling from the sky and leading to damage. And then on the south side, we could be dealing with a potential tornado, or the possibility of one forming soon here. And there's certainly a little bit more motion to the clouds, I would say. And David's just trying to get us a shot here, but not as much of a clear defined lowering as what we were seeing earlier, but there's still some rotation seems to be, you know, there's definitely a little bit more strengthening to it. Let's take the radar full for a second, because you're seeing that, you know, there's certainly another look to this on radar, that there's that kind of inflow, and that we talked about this last week, kind of that hook look to the storm that can indicate that there's a tornado. And when we saw this happen last week, we did get confirmation of there being a tornado at that time. And David's looking right into this thing. And so sometimes it's hard when we have these high precipitation supercell thunderstorms, because they can be really hard to get the contrast on to be able to see what's going on. But let's go back to the Road Warrior here for a moment, because you can actually see the wall cloud too a little bit more.
David has noted he has not seen a funnel or anything, but there has been quite a bit of strong rotation on this storm at the moment.
Gotcha.
That has been mentioned. The other thing on this storm is, I was watching it as well, National Weather Service watching it. We've got a storm that's coming up behind this now. So this has been sort of this storm has been building in behind this other storm. So it's kind of wanting to maybe do a merge again, and we'll kind of see. So this storm has kind of been running into that storm on the backside. Could it help produce a tornado? It could on the back side of it, I guess. It certainly could be on the back end, but we do have that kind of well-defined hook, and obviously there has been indications of very strong rotation out of the storm. You can see it there. Even you can see the front part is wrapping around, and then the back side is going the opposite way. So you've got that turning sort of motion there. You can kind of see it a little bit in David's shot.
Yeah, you can see that rotation now happening with this storm. If you want to. If we can get to the wall too here with Road Warrior. I know I'm asking a lot back there, and I appreciate you guys. We do have, you can definitely see the motion. No, David, no.
There he goes.
I know he's working hard for us. We do have certainly the motion. I'm kind of standing in the middle of it now, but you could just see the motion now of the storm, and that's exactly what we're seeing on the radar. So really neat. We can see what's happening. We don't want it to be neat in the sense of a tornado, but we can see what's happening at the ground, and we can see the reason why we need a storm chaser out there to tell us what is happening here with these storms. And so he's trying to get us in a good position, a good look at things here, and definitely has been the more intense rotation. And then you can just see this green glow, and that is just an indication of the heavy rain and the hail potential with this thing. And that's what I'm talking about when we can't get the contrast. When you have a low precipitation supercell, you will get some more contrast in the sky, and so you can see those tornadoes a lot easier. But then in this sense, it's a lot harder to kind of be able to catch what's happening, and sometimes they can get rain wrapped and wrapped into the storm too. But definitely some lowering. I was kind of seeing the wall cloud earlier a little bit more well defined, and yeah, I'm not seeing any funnel currently, and we do have that cell kind of butting up right against it, which can sometimes, as Kason said, it can sometimes help or can sometimes hurt the storm. And so that's something we'll have to see here. But definitely the lowering to the ground and a bit more rotation than when earlier we had that low cloud, but it wasn't really doing anything. That's what we call it, scud cloud. It's just scuddy, it's just hanging around, but definitely a bit more motion to this storm. And that rotation maybe doesn't look quite as intense as it does. I was just checking out what you were seeing on radar there. But there's definitely still some motion we can see in the clouds, still turning here. And if we get a little bit more of that vigorous rotation, that's where you can get that funnel cloud to eke out and then touch down. And so this would be right around the Independence area, going over to Independence and heading toward Winthrop. Masonville would be next, and this is north of Quasqueton, but Quasqueton, you are in the warning box here, and so sirens going off in Buchanan County, but also we have the issue of, oh man, 2.5.
Yeah, it's up to 2.5, yeah.
Is that tennis balls?
That would be 2.5 would put it at, yes, tennis ball size.
No, thank you. So then we have tennis ball size hail. No, that's ugly.
There's also, sorry to interrupt you.
I was I don't want tennis ball size hail falling from the sky.
Person out there tracking this says that there's a potential that there was a roof torn off a barn south of Independence.
Okay.
Or near Independence. So not sure if that's tornado related. They're thinking it might have been more of the rear flank downdraft.
Yeah, so sometimes these storms you get that wind rushing out.
Yeah.
And that can also cause wind damage. So that would make sense.
And they could be very intense winds that go 70, 80, 90 miles per hour. But where that area of kind of spin is at is basically right on top of Independence at the moment here. David's continuing to kind of track it. He's getting in he's getting a little bit closer to this storm here. I know he's battling with some trees as he's kind of riding out in some of the back roads here of Buchanan County. But we're going to kind of have to see what happens here, obviously, with this storm. As we kind of look at the evolution over the past little bit, you can see we've had this storm come up from the south and west, how it's kind of starting to move in behind this tornado-warned storm. So we've continued to watch it. It has that feature, sort of that hook area feature that is pretty much right on top of Independence at the moment. There has been some instances of rotation. David out in the field, he mentioned this was a couple of minutes ago that we had rapid rotation, and we kind of saw that as we were watching his shot. On some of that. So there's been rapid rotation with this particular storm. Likely maybe some damage from some very strong winds as well. Potentially a tornado there also, but we've also had very large hail that has been off to the north of this. Now, might not be quite as big, that hail core, as it was, especially when this storm kind of really intensified and started showing a little bit more of that tornado potential and that couplet potentially. We saw that kind of hail really go up a little bit. So there's still some hail ongoing to the north side of Independence, north and Winthrop. Yeah, that's where we're seeing some of that hail that is continuing to be obviously a concern. Tons of hail reports, and then there's more hail back off to the west with this storm cell that is kind of nudging into the backside, back towards Jessup again. So you just had some hail go through, some heavy rain. You've had that rotation to your east, but now we've got this storm. So there's been a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings issued for that secondary cell now towards Jessup, back west of Independence here. But that main tornado threat, where we're still seeing a little bit of that kind of hook feature, is right there towards Independence, maybe east of it now, but we're getting sort of that feature here. We haven't seen any reports. I do not believe that there has been a tornado on the ground. We've been talking with David. Nothing on the ground, he's saying. Just got a message from him not too long ago. We've had nothing on the ground still. But a very dangerous storm, man. That we saw how quickly that kind of wrapped up, and how intense that rotation was on that storm.
Yeah.
Man, it was really, really close. It wanted to try and produce a tornado.
And hopefully, you know, it didn't. It does look like we're kind of getting a little bit out of the woods in that sense with that cell merger, which is helping. I do want to also kind of do a broad view here, because we do have some more warnings that are coming in. We have Benton County around Van Horn. This would be heading toward the Cedar Rapids area. This is for well, there's one, Benton and Buchanan, that's north of Benton. That's showing up for ping pong size hail. What about the one to the south? Or there's a lot of warnings. Yeah. So that's ping pong size hail. What about to the south? We have the quarter size hail. That's for, you know, all of Benton County. That's heading towards Cedar Rapids. And these aren't moving terribly quickly. We're kind of expecting a little bit faster motion from them. They're not moving terribly fast, but this is going to be coming into the Cedar Rapids metro. So you're, you know, driving home from work or getting ready to drive home from work. You know that someone's driving home soon. Just something to be prepared for, that we will have some heavy downpours coming in and riding along Highway 30. And then we have Grundy County moving back into Grundy Center, a storm with a quarter size hail, and we do still have that tornado warning, and we've had multiple reports. It's honestly hard to keep up with just how much hail we've been seeing, you know, just come in. And so it has been quite intense. And then the rotation that you're seeing there, it has picked up a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. There's a little bit on reflectivity still, and we still have David out there, but it is, it looks a lot muddier, and I'm assuming that is the combination of of that cell merger happening now, that is leading to the just kind of muddied look to things and such. And then, so David's got to look at things there. Then we got down to the south, a new severe thunderstorm warning for Keokuk County for
hail,
ping pong golf ball size hail coming in here. And this was an area that, of course, dealt with the severe weather last week, as we had the tornado, the several tornadoes that went through around Keota and up into Johnson County, and then into Cedar and Muscatine counties last week. And they also dealt with hail. I know they don't want to see hail again.
I know, the southern sides of Iowa City that one day.
Yeah. So we do have a lot of it. You want to throw on the LSRs, the storm reports?
Yes.
Let's see, because I mean they've been cranking them out. We've got quarter size hail in Vinton. That's come in. Then we have the Independence, bunch around Waterloo, Independence report of almost 2 inches, so almost to that egg size. And we have the pictures out of the green area, and then you have Waterloo and such around there. Cedar Falls, some big hail out of Cedar Falls. Mitch has a picture there. And then, let's see.
Bunch up into, we're getting, farther and farther north, but Chickasaw County here, northern side, Alta Vista, you're talking close to 2 inches. That's been that range, man, between about 1 3/4 inches and 2 inches. There's been a lot of reports out of that. Charles City had the report of baseball-sized hail up that way. And we'll be watching now. We do have a report actually near Belle Plaine now out of Benton County there, so we can take a look at that. This is for yeah, about an inch in diameter hail there, so quarter size down that way. But we're now getting into that point where we're starting to get more and more storms that are firing off. So there are a ton of warnings here.
If you want to also, just as for more proof in the pudding of like what's happening with these storms, if you want to go to the Scan-Do scene, I have a picture of hail. This is from Waterloo.
Yep.
And so that looks like around 2 inches. That's a big egg.
I'll tell you what, that might be a little bit bigger.
Yeah. I'm trying to see compared to the ruler, and then everything. It might. Yeah, you're right. It might be almost 2.5 inches.
Yeah, that's really close.
So these are some large ones, obviously larger than a quarter. And then I mean, this is just the Iowa's News Now Facebook page, and this is Waterloo on the west side, larger than a quarter there, kind of closer to maybe that's an egg. And then we have some more pictures. We've been getting a lot. This one I would assume is also in the Waterloo area. Someone said our vehicles are totaled here in Waterloo. And another picture of some of that spiky hail. And so thank you guys for sharing these photos with us. This is Fletcher 218 in Waterloo. There's a cutie Clementine for size. And look at some of these big hailstones. I mean, these are huge. And unfortunately, I'm sure that there is some significant damage to vehicles and siding and windows. And that is why, even though we're not, always talking tornado warning, we're still talking about storms that can do damage when they're severe warned.
It'll be very interesting to know how much damage was caused in Cedar Falls and Waterloo. Like what that, I mean, there's going to be vehicles, there's going to be roofs and
some deals at the car dealerships.
Car dealerships, man.
Oy.
Get out there. Get it done.
The hail sales. But this is unfortunately some really large hail that's coming down here, and we do have this was one of the big concerns of the day. That I know that tornado sometimes takes the headlines, as I mentioned, but when we have such large hailstones, that can really do some considerable damage. And so just to kind of do another radar tour, we have this storm coming in toward Hedrick, up into the Keokuk County area, and going to be producing some hail, and could be up to around Ping Pong. And
we might want to go back up to that tornado warned storm. There's been a brief tornado supposedly, and the velocity is really kind of increased near Winthrop.
So then we have this. Let's put David in a box too, just so we can see what's going on. So there's a little bit more rotation that's picked up around there. We were seeing that a bit, but David was right in the storm. We're not seeing anything too much. But if we could get the road warrior also, there we go.
There you go, yeah.
There's
a lot of precipitation.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And so sometimes there can be that can be the case. And obviously you want to make sure that you are in the lowest level of your home, and that you are staying inside and away from this storm. And we do have we had a brief tornado that was south of Winthrop that since has lifted. And so we did see that rotation kind of pick up there, but it was hard to say if it was, if it was a result of that storm coming in or what. But that was one of the areas we've been shouting out, stay in your you want to stay in your safe place. You want to be in the lowest level of your home, away from the windows. And that is for the possibility of a tornado, as well as the possibility of the large hail that's going on there. So it's possible that a tornado did happen. It's possible it could still happen again, as these storms can cycle. But we do have the tornado warning there, and this is the same cell that earlier produced a tornado back to the west. So now we have that other storm coming up against it. Yeah, another storm to the south. And
I mean, just look at the lineups here. We have two massive hail cores sitting in Buchanan County right now. We have this hail core on this tornado warned storm here that is near Winthrop, where a potential tornado might have just touched down. Some of the same areas that just got hit with hail in Buchanan County are going to get there's another round of this about 5 minutes away from you. We've got large hail once again north of Independence, and that is going to be tracking over the same area. So this is a 1-2 punch out of two kind of singular cells that have sort of merged a little bit here now. So we're going to have large hail going over some of these same spots here, north of Independence, north of Winthrop, into Buchanan County here. Still monitoring, obviously, that situation. A potential tornado might have touched down near Winthrop here. Continuing to kind of watch the velocities and the couplet. Say right over Winthrop right now. Make sure you're in your safe spot. We're getting ready to kind of make the move over into Delaware County here, and there it goes right on cue. There's a new tornado warning that is now out for Delaware County. Kind of anticipated that coming. Where this tornado could be at is pretty much, it might be just north, but this thing is riding right along Highway 20 right now. Let's go back over to David's shot. I want to take a look at this here when we get the chance. So David is going, he's got to be right on Highway 20, isn't he now? Man, he's right on.
Yeah, he's on 20.
He's right under, he's like right under this thing here, and I'm trying to look and see if there's any sort of lowering there.
He's still back to the west of the storm.
Well, here's a shot of it right now. He's got a great shot. So there's clearly sort of a well-defined kind of wall cloud out of this particular storm that has been ongoing there. Looks like he's kind of getting off of Highway 20 here. Might be trying to avoid some of the traffic, but he's right on top of this, man. If this thing's going to touch down, and trying to see, we're getting a little bit of rain here. Man, he's right there. He's right where he needs to be, and I'm not seeing anything, at least at the moment. But yeah, that's a good spot. There could be a couple, maybe a little bit of some lowerings here. I'm not seeing it at the moment. Sometimes you can't see fully. We don't have a fully condensed funnel on it, but there still could be something that touches onto the ground there. But I'm talking Winthrop and east of that here is sort of that area. It's just right along Highway 20 where this is moving. So heads up to Masonville, over towards Manchester, Earlville. You are going to be in the path of this thing if it maintains this track pretty much right along Highway 20.
And so we do have the road warrior out right now. So we do have the lowering, and there's certainly the wall cloud going on, and we do have some cloud to ground lightning strikes happening, as well as then the potential for some large hail still. So this is a pretty typical kind of wall cloud that you'd see, and then we would see kind of a funnel coming out of this somewhere, but that's not necessarily happening at the moment. But we did see some of that intense rotation earlier, and we did have that other report. And so let's also go back to Max 1. And if you could keep it behind me, possibly if I need to step out of the way and step back in, I can. But we do have visual on this storm, so we'll find out if something happens again. And we did have a brief tornado occur, and we likely happened in kind of a blip situation, and maybe it was a little bit hard view for David to see or us to see here. But regardless, we're still watching this storm, and we've been talking about the potential for this to put down a tornado as well as that very large hail. And as it continues to the east, I just want to make sure we're talking about the towns here along Highway 20, crossing Highway 187 south of Lamont, and then near Highway 13 toward Manchester would be up next, and this would head toward Highway 38 toward Earlville and Delhi and Oneida. So that is where we would be dealing with the possibility of the tornado, and kind of just to the north of that circulation is where some of the hail could still be falling to the size of, we still have, baseball potential. Some very large hails continue to come down, and there's also up in Howard County, further to the north. I do just want to mention this briefly, that there has been another warning, Howard, Winnebago County, for hail that could be up to baseball in size, 2.75, or does that get us to, I think, tennis ball in size? And so we do have still the potential for some of this circulation happening east of Winthrop. And then we have this hail coming down here. We also have just all of the other storms here that are going to be coming in. Now, new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Lynn County. It does include Lynn County for quarter-size hail. And so you might be hearing sirens going off in other areas, but we do have, at least here, this is not going to trigger our sirens. We do have for Walford, Newhall, Center Point, Cedar Rapids, Central City. Quarter-size hail could be coming down here, and then we do have that other storm further down to the south. And I'm just keeping an eyeball too on David, and if we could, there we go. So we have David on this storm still, and just not looking as well defined, but there's still been some circulation here and there, and I'll have to take a look at it as well as we've been watching this storm. And it's a little hard to see for sure, but still some circulation, and this is right around between Winthrop and Masonville on Highway 20. And I think David's just kind of on the western side of it, so still maybe tough to see, as I said, with all the contrast of the heavy rainfall and such, if anything is happening. But that's about where it would be east of 187, I'd say, at this point, and heading to kind of the east, riding right along Highway 20, as you've been mentioning there, Kaysen. And we've had quite a bit of lightning and such. You can see kind of, oh, there's another cloud to ground strike, and then we have this little bit of inflow into the storm. It could be some of that wraparound and that moisture wrapping in, the wind wrapping in, and the possibility of a tornado happening there. And then the hail occurring here to the north, where we do have some heavy rainfall and the hail falling, and the possibility of some very large hail occurring. I've been getting some pictures, unfortunately, of some cars smashed with this as well. And let's take the Road Warrior full, and let's see what's going on here with this, as David is on this storm currently, and it just seems to be a little more vigorous in terms of just a little more intense with some of the lightning, and certainly still been seeing that rotation that we were talking about earlier. And it's important, if you're in the Manchester area, if you're around the Winthrop area, and if you are in this area where you have a tornado warning around Lamont, around Greeley, around Masonville, around Delaware, you are in the lowest level of your home and you are staying inside. And I know that right now we can't see much, and it's been hard to see a lot, but we do have visual on this storm that continues to produce a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, a lot of hail, and has produced at least several tornadoes as a possibility here that we have heard of and seen so far. And it's a little tough to say because of how much precipitation is happening. And so if it's hard for us to see, it's going to be hard for you to see, and there's no reason to be looking at it, and you just want to be inside in your safe space.
Yeah, and the other thing we'll have to kind of watch, and David's shot here, he's kind of, if you notice, we've got a lot of storms to the south of this. We're going to start seeing more of these start to kind of run into each other here. We've had these storms coming out of Benton County and northern Lynn County that are going to start to kind of move in here. Some very, very, very large hail now south of Quasqueton towards the Rowley area, north of Rowley, excuse me, north of Walker. So there's very, very large hail there. There's large hail north of Masonville, still large hail to the north of Winthrop. You're kind of getting 2 rounds of this very, very large hail. On top of that, the tornado threat, we will kind of have to see exactly how this tornado threat and how these storms kind of interact here, because if I just kind of back things up a little bit, you can see we kind of had more of that well-defined, you know, maybe a sort of hook ongoing. This was about 5:07, and then now we've got these storms that are starting to come up from the south here. And so we'll kind of see how those influence each other, whether or not that kind of maybe knocks back that tornado threat a little bit. But there has been some areas of maybe rotation that has been ongoing. So we're continuing to watch. It's getting kind of tougher to see.
And the Weather Service said too, you know, that there was a report. They're doing it out of a little bit of safety and just wanting to make sure that we didn't have another report of a tornado, but we did have that one earlier that just happened. And so that's the reason for the extension there. And so we'll see if they perhaps let go of it a little earlier if we don't see anything, because this would take us all the way to 6:15. And if we continue to see kind of the loss of structure and such, they may let that one go. But the other concern continues to be with the hail. And I don't know if I haven't seen any more hail reports necessarily come in directly just yet, but we can kind of take a look and see if any more have come in, because that's also the destructive side of this storm. And even if the tornado threat has been kind of dwindling dwindling with it, there's still the possibility we're seeing at least some large hail. It may not be up to the size of baseballs, but still could be pretty large.
Yeah, we had right now marble size in Manchester, dime size in Fairfax. We're watching some of these storms now into Lynn County here. And here in Cedar Rapids, we're now starting to get some rain showers that are starting to move in. Could be some smaller size hail where the hail is kind of off to our west, off to our north, but there is some hail possibly off to our south near the eastern Iowa area. Fairfax, and that's where we just got that report of, what was that? About an inch. So you can see sort of as I back this up, this is going to come into Cedar Rapids here in the next little bit. Now, there was a little bit more well-defined hail core near Fairfax not too long ago, so this has been a little pulsy, but we're going to see an increase here in some of the rain and whatnot, and potentially even some smaller size hail. I was going to start trying to look at some of our cameras around here. I know, obviously, still monitoring that threat off to our north of the tornado-warned storms, but we're able to start getting some views on things as this activity moves into the Cedar Rapids metro area. And also, I want to note this storm down to its south, to the south. I think earlier they were talking about. Storm in Keokuk County, producing large hail, damaging winds in Martinsburg. Southern storm is moving more east-northeast, has some rotation. Okay, so that makes sense. You're talking left split and right split here at this point.
And so unfortunately, we're that storm went through close to Keota, and I'm sure that is a little unnerving for people there who have dealt with this. And it doesn't look like the core of the storm is going right toward Keota currently, but they do have some odd motions to them. So just really could have some gusty winds and some hail. And this is at the golf ball point here. And maybe just a little larger than golf ball. But we have some thunder happening here in Cedar Rapids. You're going to be hearing the lightning and the thunder and the rain coming in, and then we have
there's tons of lightning.
We have the thunderstorms ongoing through the Cedar Rapids area, and then to the north still that tornado threat. And there was there was a report of possibly a funnel cloud close to Highway 20. I know. David
he's getting into the rain now.
The road system is a little toughy over there, and so it's possible that it just got a little hard to see the rotation and where he is at this point, kind of on the backside of the storm, and see anything from it.
He's got some wind there, though, for sure. Look at those rain curtains.
You can see that. And so it does get a little tough to try and keep up with it as you continue to go along. And so there's still quite a bit of rain, and you can see back in the distance just a whole lot of water coming down with the storm. But it is possible that the storm could still produce a tornado. They're saying now confirmed. So now we do have a confirmed tornado. That is, that's why we're saying there's the possibility of there still being something there, and the possibility that there's also the storm on the backside kind of enhancing some of that rotation. And I can see on the velocities here that we do have right around Masonville. So Masonville, you want to be in your safe space right now, and we do have rotation that is around Highway 20, and this is just east of Highway 187, and then heading toward the Manchester area would be the possibility of that rotation. And so now saying confirmed observed tornado around Highway 20, and this is east of the Independence area now, the storm that we saw earlier producing a tornado. And we had the circulation earlier that David was showing you, and he is still on this storm, and he would be right essentially, I think, is he just it looks like he's heading south, and he's trying to get another view of the storm here now.
He said that he just said that he's actually trying to get out of this storm right now and because all this rain's coming in from the north. So he said he's trying to get out and he might be trying to reposition maybe
That's what
further
it seemed
south,
like,
or
if he
maybe
can get...
repositioning overall in the storm. I'm letting him know that it's confirmed now.
Yeah, so there is the storm that is now just riding Highway 20, and so really important to make sure everyone is staying off of the roads. And if you had somewhere to be, you just gotta wait this out. I know that it's hard when we have things to do, places to be, and stuff is happening, but it's for the best to just wait, let this pass after 20 minutes, stay in your safe space until it does. I know there's storms behind it, and it's been tough, and it's like, okay, it's another 15 minutes, we have to wait another 15 minutes, but we do have kind of the end of this one here that'll move along, and we'll get past this too. But hail, heavy rain, tornado that's probably difficult to see, and I want to see if we're getting anything more hail coming in.
So this went confirmed from Delaware County receiving like a call that there was a tornado on the ground near Masonville.
Yep.
They said it was rain wrapped and a half-mile wide.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Rain wrapped tornado with how much rain we've been seeing with this, and the hail.
And I think
and
right
you can
there,
see it you can see just the wrapping in of this thing and the rotation. So still around Masonville and Dundee, that is where we have Backbone State Park. And so maybe a little bit on the correlation coefficient where we can see some debris, maybe a little bit, but that's a little odd. That's a little displaced from, oh, if you go back a frame, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Maybe a little bit of signs of debris that's happening with this. But the hope would be that we're not, we're staying away, we can stay in a field and kick up some dirt. But if you are in the Masonville area, and then this would be heading toward Manchester, and we can hope that this does not stay on the ground into the Manchester area, but kind of on a bit of it's almost moving a little due east. And a little due northeast, so I do not like that. So Manchester, you need to be in your safe space like now, right now. And we have Oneida and Delhi in your safe space in Earlville. And so if you know somebody in these areas, in these towns that I'm saying, or you know some smaller towns around here that aren't showing up on my map that I do not know, you want to call your friends and your family and tell them that there has been a confirmed tornado and that they need to be in their basement, in the lowest level of their home, in the bathroom, away from the windows, and that we still have a dangerous storm here that has been confirmed. And so we will probably have difficulty even if we could get David in position to see this because of how much rain is coming down with this storm. And on top of that, we also have the possibility of tennis ball size hail with this storm, baseball, tennis ball size hail that could be ongoing as well in some spots north of Manchester to the west here. And so definitely want to make sure that you are staying indoors and away from the storm and out of it, especially on Highway 20, where a lot of people could be traveling here between Waterloo to Dubuque, but not somewhere that you want to be right now as we have this possible tornado on the ground currently. And this would be right around the Masonville area. This thing does not seem to be moving really. And we do have circulation right around here that would be, yeah, it's moving a little east, northeast, I would say. A little weird motion to it.
It might have had a little shift.
It's kind of jogging around.
Almost had a shift kind of south there, or maybe like southeast really quick to put it back
there you go.
there.
There's another scan that came in there, and so this is really riding along kind of the Highway 20 area. This is correlation coefficient that can show us if there's any debris, anything outside of precipitation coming down or hail. Not really showing us any signs of that, which is good news. And this can show us if like debris is getting picked up and lofted, if something is getting picked up and tossed around, and we can see it, the radar picking up on it. And then we do have the circulation still Highway 20 west of Manchester heading toward Highway 13. And I know that David just stopped. He must have
That's some
wanted to be letting us know what's going on, but he has some very heavy rain coming down and staying out of the circulation of this storm at least, and trying to stay away from the hail. But a rain-wrapped tornado is a dangerous tornado, and especially as we're getting these cell mergers and we're getting these storms that are coming together, that can lead to some difficulty in terms of where that kind of that weird motion happening and where exactly things may kind of set up with these. We can see the wind blowing the rain across the field there. Let's take the Road Warrior full there. And so, I mean, this is what you can expect with this storm, even if you're, this is even outside of where that circulation is. And we do have the wind blowing the rain around. And then if the hail, if you're in the hail core and you have these gusty winds, that's blowing that hail into the siding, into cars, and leading to the damage. And so we will, hopefully not hear of too much damage. We do know that there's been quite a bit from some cars and such have gotten hit in Cedar Falls and whatnot. But this was the big concern today that we were going to be dealing with as we went through this afternoon. And he's just riding it out, so he's not getting into the hail and into the strong winds and whatnot.
And if there's a tornado on the ground, I mean,
if there's a tornado on the ground, you don't want to keep driving.
You're not going to be able to see it if you're looking at David's shot there. You're not going to see it at all. It's a very dangerous situation when we get rain-wrapped tornadoes and these high precipitation supercells. And
he is not near the rotation at all.
Yeah, and he's nowhere close.
So that's why he's like, I'm gonna wait for this thing to pass, which is exactly what we want you to do.
And even if you're not dealing with that tornado threat, these are some of the driving conditions that, with that heavy rain and hail, I mean, it's hard to see there at all in that particular shot. Rain is going sideways. We've got rain that is going left to right there in that particular shot.
And he just has a barn there, so thank you for whoever's barn that is to kind of give him some protection from the wind. But he is south of where that circulation is and staying safely away from the storm. And that's if you need to always in those situations stop and not try and outrun these storms. And if you were to be, seeing a tornado coming at you in a car situation, you do not want to be in the car still. But David is safely away from the main circulation of that storm. And we do have still a lot of these storms south now into Cedar Rapids. Some small hail coming down. Mitch was taking a look outside. What have you been seeing out there?
It's pretty light right now.
It's light right now?
Especially, all things
on the
considered
south
what's going
side.
on Buchanan and Delaware counties. We're not going to complain about a little rain here. Getting a little rumbly, but so far haven't seen or heard anything. That'll be the key, right, is start hearing those hailstones fall. But we've seen, like you guys said, in northeast Iowa, just the pictures that have popped up of just some big hail and all across the area this last month or so. Just the hail spread has been wide from southwest to northeast Iowa.
Sounds like you're hearing a little bit more outside now.
Yeah,
but,
let's go check our
But
out
we do have this confirmed tornado here. Then further down to the south, actually 2-inch hail now, not in Cedar Rapids, but down into.
It's that one right there.
Yes.
That would be right over Kyoto.
Oh, bummer. Oh,
Kyoto
man. I was hoping that hail core would stay away. I was like, it doesn't look to be right there.
That went right over Kyoto.
It jumped to the east.
It did, and it really picked up. And it picked up in a couple-minute span.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes there. So in Kyoto, we do have the possibility of some hail. We have, what is the warrant? That's 2 inches, so that's up to eggs. And then we also have more egg-sized hail around right in the south side of the Keokuk and Washington County line there, Richland, Brighton, Wayland, just around the Hedrick area to the south there that just kind of split those two cells. And then we have some rotation with these storms that they're keeping an eye on down to the south here too. And especially that southern storm would have the potential to potentially be tornadic if it is able to see some of that kind of wrapping up around and such, but still some dangerous hail heading toward the Brighton area and Wayland and Washington, kind of split by these two storms currently. We have some torrential downpours happening in Cedar Rapids, and south side of town is looking fine for the moment, but it's there's the southeast side on our camera. It's just dark.
Quite a bit of rain.
And then here in Cedar Rapids, you can take the Skycam, our Cedar Rapids Skycam, and we have the rain coming right over. It sounds like there's some hailstones coming down now, and they
You
have
check that,
they have upped the hail size for us here in Lynn County to ping pongs.
I'm telling you, there's probably some decent sized hail. This is probably just going to miss us here at the station, but Marion, I would say you've probably got, I mean, there's a chance here. Yeah, you're talking ping pong ball size. I'd be very curious. So you've got Highway 100 here. This is pretty much on top of Highway 100 east of First Ave. So on Highway 100 out there up to about 151 is where we got that. Yeah, some heavy rain oncoming out there right now in Cedar Rapids. Yeah. There you go. That's a look.
Right outside of the studio, Mitch Fick, he can do it all.
Just a couple very light hailstones. There's one. Let me see. We've got John, if you're back there, we've got.
Yeah, we've got you up
on the cam. Okay, let me see. I'm holding the door and focusing, just trying to multitask.
There's a little guy. There's
that little guy. I wouldn't worry about that little guy, but that's. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of it. Now most of the water you're seeing drop past the camera is falling off the awning right above me. So, yeah, northeast here on Old Marion Road didn't really get a whole lot, but like you guys said, I mean, those clouds are still pretty dark up there, so we'll see. And they're moving. You can tell just looking up at the sky. Those clouds are booking it.
Yeah, they had some reports of golf ball sized hail in Cedar Rapids. A couple of pieces of that, but it's going to be like the Marion area and then east of that. So. That's where we're kind of seeing that out that way. You're talking towards kind of like the airport area there in Marion, the police station, as you're trying to get on and go on 151. That's where some of this hail is going to be, and it's moving to the north and east there. So that's where kind of that hail is. A large part of Cedar Rapids missed that, but I'm sure we might get a couple of golf balls out of Marion, but that's kind of the hail and the threat that we're seeing in Lynn County for right now. There's heavy rain, some smaller sized hail in northern Lynn County near Central City and Coggin. That confirmed tornado warning is now back to just a radar indicated, and this is just kind of looking, this is kind of looking a lot messier now.
Which is good.
Which is good, and we've had a lot of those storms that have been coming up from the south, and I think that might be playing in a role in kind of knocking some of this back a little bit in terms of that. Oh, that's a lot of damage there. You want to show those?
Yeah, this is the same storm here that we're talking about. So for one, yes, we are seeing at least some confirmation of things being a little bit calmer on the side of the tornado threat. This is from, I think it was the Cedar Falls area. I just blanked on what it was. But this is hailstones. There's an egg for comparison, so about egg size. And then here's the damage to the car and windows smashed, dents on the car. And then there's the sunroof.
Oh, not the sunroof, the moonroof. No. Oh, man. Wow, that's...
Yeah, so there's the hailstones that did that. A lot of insurance claims that are going to be filed. So, and this is probably going to be a common theme is there's some even larger hailstones that we've seen than this in some spots. And let me see. I do want to say we do know that there's a hawk alert that went out because that storm that's further down to the south now, around the Washington and Keokuk County areas. We're talking about Keota. If you go down there, that storm is, going into the Johnson County area for 2-inch hail. Their sirens are going off. So they are sending students inside around the Iowa City area, and I would suspect around, the University of Iowa, getting close to it there for 2-inch size hail. That's eggs. The eggs falling from the sky. So that's heading into Wellman and going to be close to Iowa City. It's probably going to take a bit of time, and we've seen kind of these hail cores jump around a little bit, but going toward Wellman and Kelowna, and Kelowna was where we also had the tornado recently. I know that's not something that we want to deal with again, and thankfully we don't have a tornado threat, but we do have the hail threat for some significant hail, and I know it's unnerving and you're hearing the sirens go off, and the best thing to do is just stay inside and stay away from the windows. And if you're still out ahead of this thing, if you're in Iowa City and you can get your car parked underneath somewhere and then you get inside, then do that. But otherwise, you got to just stay inside as these storms pass through.
Yeah, so that's, looks like maybe the hail core has
come. And now we have a tornado warning down to the south.
I saw, yeah, that's what I was going to get to there as well. So this is that new one. I'm going to try and, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up. So we got a brand new tornado warning here into far southeastern Keokuk County and Washington County here. We were talking earlier about we had kind of these two cells. The one with a large hail that would move through Kyoto was heading north. And that was kind of this, the splitting, left split, right split. And this is the right split. Typically, when we are talking about these storms, the right splits are the ones that can produce tornadoes. So now there is a tornado warning on that particular storm here. Not a whole lot in terms of rotation at the moment. Still seems pretty broad, but this has a little bit of kind of a northeasterly track to it. So it will take it into likely Washington County here within the next little bit. I'm trying to pull up. This camera doesn't look like it's turned. I would like to see that storm, but I don't think the Ottumwa one. Nope, it is looking off to the south and west. So
there's sunshine there still.
We don't have control over that camera, but
not the Fairfield one either.
The Fairfield one is looking. No, it is not.
I don't think that one ever moves. We've seen it moved once or twice.
Yeah.
The storm might come into view though, but we do have. This is north of Fairfield, and so this is just kind of right in the line of the southern part of Washington and Keokuk counties. Excuse me, and the rotation likely would be just around Packwood, between Packwood and Vedic City, and west of Purley and Purley. I apologize, but approaching Highway 1, south of Richland toward Brighton would be the issue here, kind of riding along into the Washington County area.
And they do stop this. Washington, we can just say you're kind of included in it. It's just outside of you, but...
And I will say to the north now, we did have a report of a tornado up in Delaware County. Power lines are down. There is a call of a lost barn south of Winthrop. And so there's a bit of a path that they're starting to see where we're getting some damage. And so they've put a confirmation on that from another report of a tornado. And there is some rotation. So occasionally we're seeing this kind of pick up and down, and interestingly, we were seeing that kind of rotation more near north of Highway 20. Now it's a little bit further to the south, but I would say Manchester, Delaware, Delhi, heading toward Highway 38, Earlville. That is of concern there. And then we do have David. He is just on the west side of the storm, and he can see a little bit of the structure to it. Probably be might be a little hard to see the actual any sort of tornado happening, but he has the storm. Back to the west there, and there's some lowering over there. I mean, all of it's kind of lower to the ground, but once again, it would be kind of hard to see anything that could be possibly rain wrapped. We are getting some reports of damage and such with this storm and whatnot. We'll see if maybe David can go get some damage and show us what's happened now with this. And thankfully, it seems that these have been some, up and down kind of tornadoes, and thankfully not on the ground. But there's still a tornado threat with this. The concern still remains. And I'm going to see if I can pass along this this message to him so he can see if we can get some images of what happened with this storm. But there seems to be kind of broad rotation with that. I wouldn't be surprised we're getting these quick kind of spin-ups that are occurring with this storm here. And so this would be west of Highway 38 and along and south of Highway 20 for the rotation, and kind of just riding along near Delhi and Earlville. So you want to be in your safe place. I think everybody in Eastern Iowa just needs to be hanging out inside today. Tonight we're staying inside. We're not ordering a pizza because we don't want the pizza delivery peeps to be out.
No.
You make a frozen pizza on one of these nights, and you can turn on a show after we're done telling you about the safety stuff.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. I mean, it is so important that if you're getting that tornado warning, that you are staying inside, that if you have these warnings popping up on your phone, especially, we have had warnings meet the threshold for the wireless emergency alert system on your phone for hail today. So that is why you need to just stay in and ride out these storms and let them pass. We've had damage confirmed. We've had a barn damage. We've had cars getting smashed. We have had multiple reports of tornadoes. We continue to have these severe thunderstorm warnings, golf ball size hail, storms that are producing 50, 60 mile per hour winds and causing trouble out there. So we do have the storm to the north of here also that is, or to the south rather, that has been triggering some at least potentially golf ball to ping pong sized hail. This just came out of the Cedar Rapids area and is around Springville heading toward Anamosa. And then further down to the south, we have the sirens going off in parts of Johnson County for this storm that has been capable of producing potentially egg-sized hail going through Wellman and heading toward what's north of Wellman there. There's hills to the east.
You got hills.
And we're getting into the Iowa City Metro along Highway 1.
Yeah, Riverside would be a little, I mean, there's
Sharon Center,
yeah,
Windham. We got to shout them out. So getting close, Melrose is right there, getting close to the University of Iowa campus. So that's why they put the hawk alert out, because if this storm continues, it could continue to produce those large hailstones there as well. And
you've got the cell even behind the one that is in Wellman. You've got more hail and another little cell that is back off to the west of Keota now that is starting to pick up more hail there, or more potential hail out of this storm. So they kind of got it looks like both warnings are on both of them almost in a way.
Yeah.
So that's, you're
they
talking.
Drop the hail on that.
It looks
one
like
now?
they did drop the hail back to about 1.25 inches, which is nice. This storm down to the south, though, this has quite a bit of big hail on that tornado warned storm.
And that still has 2 inches. That's eggs.
So we're
saying eggs a lot today.
Eggs down that way. Rotation wise, not seeing a whole lot from this southern storm. This is the Washington County storm, but a tornado could certainly be possible. But there is large hail that's going to be moving towards the Brighton area. You've got Highway 1 there that's really going to probably take a beating. It's going to be very difficult to drive. We've showed you numerous pictures today and just have talked about the hail that has been ping pong ball size or greater. It seems like most of the hail that we've seen today has been bigger than that, but we'll continue to watch that storm for that potential tornado threat as well as the hail threat. We're starting to see some hail now, heavy rain begin to move into parts of Iowa and Johnson County. This is southwestern Johnson County here now. We've talked about the hawk alert that has gone out for University of Iowa students and staff there to make sure that they are going to be sheltering, because we'll have to see what happens with this storm. But hail has produced some very large hail near Keota as well as Wellman. I think that has produced ping pong ball size there as well. They've dropped it back a little bit. That hail core is maybe not quite as impressive north of Wellman, but in the Kelowna area, so that's good for those folks, because you've dealt with quite a bit of severe weather already here this year. But we'll be watching that closely. That's working to the north and east, and we'll be approaching the Iowa City area. Cedar Rapids, things are quieting down a little bit here now. We've had these storms lift off to the north. We've had some rain. We've had some hail. The hail core is mainly now off towards Springville, kind of north of Highway 151 there, near Viola, Anamosa, Fairview. You may be dealing with some of those, and it will continue to move up towards Jackson and eventually Castle Grove and Monticello into Jones County. We have this confirmed tornado. That has been kind of maybe a quick spin up here or there. It has been kind of up and down.
I did get a report of a funnel cloud still. And
on this storm up here?
Yes, near
okay.
Earlville.
Okay.
And so that would make some sense maybe on the north side of Delhi, where we're seeing some of that rotation kind of right in between Earlville and Delhi, Gilt Edge. This would be heading toward Dyersville. And so regardless, we're still talking about hail that is, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for my telephone. Oh, there it is.
So hail that could be around ping pong, what's inch and a half? We have golf ball kind of at that point, and so still some large hail at that point as well, and the possibility of a tornado still happening. And so kind of north of Earlville is where that hail threat is, and then down near or south of Earlville is where the tornado threat would be. And then if you're in these areas here around Petersburg, New Vienna, Dyersville, Gilt Edge, Worthington, Farley, you want to be inside in your home, parking it for the evening here, let these storms come through, as we have the tornado threat as well as the hail threat still ongoing.
Yep. So we're still kind of just watching things. The good news is for this storm that is in Delaware County, the warning for the obviously the hail on it has come down a bit, and there's not quite as well of a defined hail core that would be really big hail coming out of this, but still Earlville area, you could maybe have some hail sizes that are bigger than quarters up to about ping pong, but there's not that really big defined hail core much anymore. I'll talk back off to the west a little bit. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for places in Buchanan County. These are some of the same areas. You're getting round 2. I just want to kind of stress that you're getting round 2 of storms that are now moving through that are still containing some hail with this towards Jessup and now really towards Independence. This is round 2 of heavy rain as well as some larger hail that will continue to fall. These are all working right along Highway 20 really at the moment, and there are more storms back off near the Waterloo and Cedar Falls area. Those are not severe, but it's more rain, and we'll kind of see what exactly goes on here. Is not at least at this moment, we haven't seen a big flash flood concern, and I haven't seen really any reports of that from some of the partners at some of the other places. Wow, that is massive. Where was that
this
at?
This
oh,
was
in
north
Buchanan.
of Independence, and this was so we're looking at hailstone. This was recently, and so I'm wondering if this is that storm.
Is it this storm right here?
But this would be 3-inch hail. So let's.
I'll pop that up.
Yeah, pop this up. This is from Emergency Management in Buchanan County, north of Independence. Look at this hailstone, and look at the big spikes on this thing. Like, that is wild. That is over 3 inches in diameter. And this is another hailstone that was out there. And then you can see the smaller ones. Then you get these big ones that start coming down, and this is what wrecks your car. And that is no fun. And oh my goodness, do we have a whole ton of hail that has been falling around here. Hail, no.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
When you're getting to that 3-inch range, that's softball size hail. Once we're starting to get up there, that first one was huge. That first one, I know it's got kind of some longer spikes on it. It's not, you know, perfectly round and circular, but
no,
that's damaging hail. That's what we've been talking about today, is just the damaging hail that has been ongoing across the area. We've seen multiple pictures, windows blown out, and that size of hail that you can see on your screen, that's what does it. That is what is the concern. That was north of, you said, Independence
3 miles
in Buchanan
north of
County.
Independence. And so he posted this about 4 minutes ago, so I'm curious as to what storm.
So we're not sure if that might have been that initial storm, the tornado warned one, or there is that storm moving through right now that does have a bit of a hail core on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's
might have been the other
not
one that
that
came
storm.
out of it earlier. And then I will say that in Earlville, we're getting reports of 70-mile-per-hour winds and very low visibility right now. And so that's continuing on there, and that is going to be that is almost looking more like a wind issue to me, like it's kind of just a gust, kind of the outflow is taken over, and more of a bowing segment to it and gusting there in terms of the wind rather than a tornado.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all of these, I mean, look at all these storms that have come together. I mean, it's over the past, I mean, this has been
not like the Beatles song.
You know, this has been less than an hour, or about an hour. We've had so many storms come together here. Not ruling out that there is obviously a tornado chance still.
Could you go back to the velocity?
Yes,
and we'll go up to the over here. So here's what I'm seeing is when you have more of this kind of bow, it looks like a backward C, that would to me indicate more of a wind, like a straight line wind, and that's where that 70-mile-per-hour wind doesn't surprise me. Now, there is a little bit of this red picking up here that could indicate some rotation also going on within that. There could be a little bit of circulation also ongoing, but yeah, Kaysen's showing there 60-mile-per-hour winds, and we're shooting pretty high at this point away from the radar. We are pretty far away. This is the Quad Cities radar, and so we're in line with Dubuque up here. This is kind of far from it, so there could be still some. I mean, we're getting reports of 70-mile-per-hour winds out in Earlville, and it's still possible that's going on up that way. And typically we'll get stronger winds up above, and then the friction down at the surface will lead to some lighter winds, but we've at least had some reports recently of some strong winds there, and it's possible you're kind of getting this surge behind, and that's creating some of that bowing that's going on. We have, as you said, all that merging going on. So I would say that the tornado threat perhaps continuing to decrease with this and more of a wind threat taking over, but either way, regardless, we're not going to be able to see what's going on. Visibility is super duper low. We have then the issue of hail, the heavy rain falling, and this is heading into Dyersville toward Field of Dreams, Cascade, Holy Cross, Highway 151. It's just kind of north of you there. Hopkinton in on the rain and the hail, and then toward Dubuque.
Yeah, that's so that's the new severe thunderstorm warning.
Yes.
You're right on top of it.
70-mile-per-hour winds.
So that's we had 70-mile-per-hour winds, and they're talking down in the Quad Cities, the National Weather Service, that this is turning into more of a wind threat now, and that is going to be the concern with this storm. Or tornado is still there is a tornado possible tag on this severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah.
But obviously now we're going to be concerned about 60, 70-mile-per-hour winds.
And now let's take the Road Warrior. This is the same storm that we're looking at. This is the damage it caused, and he's went over to, I think, around the Winthrop area, and here's unfortunately some damage on a farm that we have now out in Buchanan County, and unfortunately this is some significant damage to a barn. I think there's been 2 reports around there of some damage that we've seen. So this is the current situation of this same storm that could possibly have been a tornado. It could have possibly been wind. We will have to wait for the National Weather Service to make that exact determination. But here is the damage, and here's the realities of the situation, and why we say, regardless, we need to be in our safe place, and we need to make sure that we are staying away from the windows, staying in that lowest level. And unfortunately, you know, people are going to have to do some cleanup there. Hopefully no one is hurt. And if this was a barn, that's what it looks like to me, at least, that we do have not a home, and hopefully everyone stayed safe there. So we'll get some more information there, certainly, as David is out there getting that for us. Unfortunately, we have another tornado warning to discuss here, and this is now down in Lynn and Jones counties, and this is radar indicated. This would also include a lot of hail. These are the 2 things we talked about with the storms today: tornado and hail threat. And now we're seeing it turn into more of a wind threat as the storms are coming together. But this one is still a little detached. And so there's some inflow into the storm here. And I guess the rotation's happening somewhere west of Anamosa. And this is around Springville. And so there we go, is where our rotation is. West of Fairview, north of Highway 151, and likely heading, I would guess, northeast, east-northeast a bit here, would be around Anamosa, where that kind of line up around Highway 151. These storms have been loving the highways today, unfortunately. And we also have the possibility of some ping-pong golf ball size hail coming down with these storms. So once again, we need to be in our safe place. You just saw damage from a tornado possibly that happened, and it doesn't matter if it's tornado or if it's wind. We have strong winds that are swirling around. We have hail. We've seen damage now from the hail to the cars, breaking the windows. You don't want to be anywhere near windows or in a car while this is coming through. and we just saw the damage that these storms caused. Even if it's a brief tornado, it will do significant damage in an isolated area. And this is heading close to the Anamosa area, north of Martel, Highway 1 and 151 here, and heading to the east. Is it going due east?
Yeah, yeah. They're saying pretty much due east, and it's going about 50 miles an hour. So these storms are a little bit quicker now. Yep, we're starting to pick that up a bit.
And so we have Anamosa shortly, Scotch Grove, Onslow, Temple Hill, Monmouth, and Crabtown. Crabtown's a funny name, I'm sorry. But we do have right now this circulation around Anamosa. And so this is where a tornado would be if it is happening. We do not have confirmation, but we do know that there is circulation that is ongoing. And this would be south of Anamosa, southwest of Anamosa, I'd say. There's almost a little blip there of possibly some debris. It's very hard when we're getting like 1 pixel, but right around the Fairview area, east of Iola, that is where the rotation would be, very close, very on top of Fairview right now. I mean, it would be right on top of Fairview where that rotation would be, and this is going to jump to the east here. I mean, our radar imagery is a couple of minutes old because it takes some time for us to get it back. So heading around Anamosa and toward Amber, and Highway 151 is running up here toward Langworthy, so crossing Highway 151, and then we have Scotch Grove and such if this continues kind of an easterly path. But some of these are meandering a bit. They might have some weird motion to them because they're merging with these other cells around. And so you do just need to make sure that you are staying in your safe place, not leaving the house. We kind of talked about all of eastern Iowa. We just need to hang because this is happening on all of these spots. These storms are popping up, and the concern was, where does this boundary set up, and then what does it do down to the south? And we're seeing that now. These storms have just been continuing to fire and lead to some additional activity. And so we have possibility of hail and a tornado threat just west of Anamosa. Could be heading into the Anamosa area. Anamosa, you need to be in your basement. And then continuing to the east. And then, Kason, we have another storm down to the south, too, that was still tornado warned.
Yes, it is still tornado warned. Yep.
And so this is right around Brighton, and 1 3/4 hail. Where does that put us in the...
1 3/4, that's ping pong ball size.
So ping pong balls and and the possibility of a tornado. Almost looks like it would be back here over, here. So there's a circulation down south of Brighton and right on the edge of the Washington County line. Also the possibility of a tornado there, and then also the very large hail that's happening. And so we have both of those threats continuing there. Let's do a big zoom. Let's do a DMA, a whole view of the whole viewing area. So we can kind of see what's happening. We have tornado warning, tornado warning, tornado warning. Then these warnings going into Wisconsin. We have Highway 20 that's been just getting battered by these storms and the hail. So hail damage around here, and then tornado damage that has been going on to the west of Dubuque, between Waterloo and Dubuque here. And then we have this line of storms that has been coming through. It's not necessarily a line, but it's a lineup, I would say, of storms. And this tornado warning that is east of Cedar Rapids. So sirens going off in parts of Lynn County and Jones County because of this storm that is now heading into the Anamosa area. They let go of the warning for Cedar Rapids, or not for Cedar Rapids, but for the Lynn County area, because that storm's jumped to the east here. And the tornado threat really just to the east of Anamosa. And I was seeing a little bit of lowering on some of the clouds earlier. And it was hard to say if it was like more scud or if it was wall cloud. And now this almost looks like it's trying to become a little more outflow dominant too, but there is still some rotation right in the Anamosa area there.
Yeah, right on top of that here is where we'd see it. It hasn't moved a whole lot. You know, we were talking in that Viola, Fairview, and Anamosa area. This might have had a little bit more of maybe that northeasterly push now that we have been saying. We've seen a lot of these storms look like they're going one way, and then before you know it, they're going the complete other way. obviously a concern there for this, that we could have a potential maybe a smaller tornado, but a brief spin up certainly is possible near the Anamosa area. Make sure you're taking shelter there. Edinburgh down towards you, Amber, and then Center Junction and back off towards Scotch Grove. We'll kind of have to see. There almost looks like there could be, well, now as we look at this, it looks like it may be that rotation I was just about to say could be maybe further south here. On this, headed up sort of by Anamosa, and it might be south of 151 there of Anamosa. So we've got some kind of interesting features on this storm. As Rebecca kind of said, we'll kind of have to see sort of exactly how this pans out. We've got a storm behind this storm still, so that has influenced quite a few of these storms we've had today. But there's big hail ongoing again. As we've been talking about all day, we might have some hail bigger than that 1.25 inches north of Anamosa, near Amber, Edinburgh. You could be talking about maybe golf ball size hail in those spots towards Langworthy as well. I just want to mention, I know it's getting a little really noisy in parts of Iowa City right now, in Coralville. You've got a storm moving in. It is severe warned. There's hail falling in Iowa City once again, and there's probably quarters to golf balls here right now. And potentially it just moved through, is now moving up onto Interstate 80. There's so many warnings out here right now. These storms are tracking to the north and east, so into Johnson County, and this will be moving up eventually into Lynn County as well. Likely will stay to the east of Interstate 380 there, and we still have these storms back off to the south in Washington County. Haven't seen much in the way of rotation on this Washington County storm. It's been very broad, has not been too impressive. I haven't really seen an update on it either, but
yeah, and they've got a lot they're doing. They were letting go of the warnings off to the west and kind of updating some things. We have quarter-size hail north of campus in Iowa City. I
saw a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust in Dyersville a little bit earlier,
okay.
So that's kind of that line. I thought I saw a report on that. Maybe I was.
There was Delaware County. There's a picture of a storm. I mean, the storm we were kind of seeing earlier. Severe warning for the hail. Delaware County, Delaware fire. 70 mile-per-hour winds west of Dyersville, activating outdoor warning sirens. Which we were talking about, that wind kind of taking over. They were. Watching Brighton storm, so we have people on these storms. Delaware County, yeah, we talked about that wind threat. Let's see, quarter-size hail in Parkersburg, just back to the west even further again. Oh my gosh, that's west to Parkersburg.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll be quiet.
No, you're good. Even further west, it's not warned. There was but just like quarter-size hail around Parkersburg.
I thought you were talking about one right now.
No,
I was like, what are you?
I think so. It's quarter-size hail north of Parkersburg about 5 minutes ago.
That was probably that storm that's unwarned.
Yeah.
We can back it up. Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah, right there.
I'm just saying,
6:04.
They're saying
about
that
10 minutes ago.
They're saying that they're pretty pulsy storms, so they're kind of going up and down in intensity. We got this storm.
This is
going through.
This is through the same. These are the same.
That's what damage.
There's been the same areas that are getting hit by this large hail over and over, and potential damage and tornadoes.
Where's David? Oh, that's going to come right to David.
Yeah. Well.
And David, I mean, it's just the hail and the rain, and if we go to the Road Warrior, he's probably going
to get this right here, because
he is right. Yeah, he is east of Winthrop. He's like right on it. There it is. There's the rain. Yeah. So yeah, it could be some hail, and so unfortunately, on top of the damage they have there, now they have to deal with the rain, and they can't even get all the cleanup done. I will say though, David said everyone is safe here, so no injuries in this area. That is great news. Unfortunate to see the damage. We don't like to see that, but that is great news that everyone is safe. So hopefully they can wait for this cell to pass by. It's unfortunate we just keep having these storms go up and down, and in and out of the area. And so we continue to have additional thunderstorms. I was trying to move the camera. I didn't do a good
job.
Oh,
I hit the east button on it, and yeah, I think we kind of battled. That's what we were battling. That's what we ended up doing.
But we can turn it again.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and turn it, I would just put the Dubuque one up.
Yeah.
You're gonna, folks in Dubuque. I will say we've had
70 mile per hour
70
winds.
mile per hour winds there. We'll get a recording up towards with the regional airport there. But this camera is down actually in Dubuque, in the downtown area here. So looks like we've got some bug or something. He's trying to hold on for dear life there. He was just hanging around. I don't know if the camera's the best spot for that, for protection, but you can see the light. Look at the lightning right now ongoing. So this storm, not really. This storm obviously has produced some tornadoes, but that's not really the threat we're concerned about with this anymore. This is now really a wind threat that could be maybe 7. I think that's a spider. Look at that thing go.
Oh wow,
He's going to have to hold on. Hold on, buddy. So winds will be increasing up to about 70 miles per hour there. So there's certainly that concern. There might be some smaller sized hail, but we're not getting really that hail core on these. That wind threat's going to be the main thing. There is some large hail, though, on going into Jones County, Scotch Grove. That will be Highway 38. You're going to be dealing with some of these, that north-south Highway 38 and 136. There is some big hail to the north of Amber and Center Junction, south of Scotch Grove. The good news is this hail is not going over 151. I know that's one of the bigger highways in the area. We've been kind of monitoring whether or not we're seeing. There's still a little bit of rotation there that could maybe be spitting out potential, at least a brief maybe spin up tornado. I haven't seen anything confirmed out of this yet.
No, but there's been, this is further north, Clayton County reporting 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Earlville Fire had rotation. That was about 20 minutes ago, but that was when we started to see that transition to more of a wind threat. And then hail.
Let's take the Road Warrior back up. I'm seeing some of this hail come in on David's thing now off the top of the Road Warrior. There you go.
There's some hail.
That's that storm that is now starting to move into Delaware.
Into Winthrop, yeah,
towards Winthrop, Masonville again, and Manchester, where there's been some reports of damage. David's obviously been there, so now we've got more heavy rain.
Oh, look at those hailstones.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are probably...
they're like...
there might be...
nickel.
Yeah, pennies.
Yeah.
Maybe some dimes there.
He'll have to get some for us when he's done.
But I think that's all the bigger that it's
let
getting
us
there.
know what they look like. What's going on, Mitch?
Yeah, we were talking about northeast Iowa, seeing some of the stuff you were talking about, Clayton County. Right now, more than 40% of Howard County doesn't have power. It's a smaller county. I think it's 9,000 some across the county. You got 5,200, 5,300 customers tracked by poweroutage.com.us. Most of those are Alliant Energy customers, more than 2,200 without power, so it's about 42% of the total electric customer population there, mostly in Cresco and right around an area of Vernon Springs. It's about 1,100 folks around Vernon Springs. And then right around the area of Highway 9, just north of there is Cresco. You've got another pushing 1,100 or so. But that's a big chunk of the population of Cresco that doesn't have power right now. Other than that, as we've talked about these winds and the hail and all the stuff we've been seeing, there's really not a whole lot of other spots that have a ton of power outages. You're pushing about 600 in Winneshiek County, about one every 20 or so people. And Delaware County just ticked up a little bit, about 150 folks without power there. But for the most part, we're talking about even in places like, if I can get these numbers back up, a few other places that have had these storms move through. Blackhawk County's got less than 24 folks without power. Jones County numbers haven't come in yet, but even the ones, Tama County's got 1 person, Grundy County's got 9. So we've seen these big systems move through, but really up there in the northeast side is where we've seen at least the most power outages. But obviously you saw the view there that David had in Buchanan County of the barn or the structure out there in the rural part of the area that was hit. But yeah, Iowa County's got about 36 people out there, but for the most part, not seeing a ton of power outages. But obviously, as that hail continues to fall and these winds pick up as we get closer to the Mississippi, certainly a lot of opportunity for damage reports and maybe some more power outages there. If you see that hail still bouncing off the Road Warrior there, if we want to take that shot again.
Yeah, see right in the hail core there of that storm around the Winthrop area, just east of Winthrop, and that is going to be heading to the east and kind of following, unfortunately, the path that it just took the earlier storm that came through. We do still have several tornado warnings as well. And did they issue a tornado warning?
That's a new one that's just popped up, yeah.
This was the one that we were watching come out of Dyersville, come out of Winthrop earlier that did cause the damage. It does seem to me that it is more wind dominant.
I would agree with that as well. I'm not sure. Maybe they might be able to give us a with sort of the, you know, if we look at this with reflectivity, we kind of talk about sort of these. It has almost sort of a Boeing segment to it right here, as you can see down towards Dyersville and Worthington. As we kind of look at that, it sort of has a curve to it that would lead to believe that there would be more of just a kind of wind threat and a straight line a wind threat at that. But as I'll go in and look at velocity a little bit more here, there certainly could be some spin up tornadoes here out of these potential storms. And this new severe tornado warning that does cover Dubuque, the Dubuque Regional Airport, Bernard, and Epworth. We could be looking at maybe a spin-up tornado here or two, on top of seeing wind gusts that could be approaching, 70 miles per hour or more. And it does appear that the hail.
I did see something. Dyersville fire 70-mile-per-hour winds earlier. There's something about rotation. I can't find it now. But yeah, the hail too.
The hail is starting to come back up as we kind of play it back here a little bit. So this was at about 613. Not a lot of hail, but the hail has grown in the past couple of scans here in the last, I would say, probably 15 minutes or so. Lots of lightning on this storm. We're seeing that from our sky cam there in Dubuque. It's basically nonstop activity with this storm moving in. Just tons and tons of lightning. You can see some of the different colorations as well. Kind of that milky or green looking color here, and I'm going to try and pan it just even a little bit farther back off to the south there a little bit as we look at things. Not a whole lot of wind. You can see the American flag there is not moving very, very much, but we'll be dealing with potential 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts out of that, and maybe this tornado threat as well. Are you talking about maybe down here more towards?
No, there was some discussion. There was some discussion about. I thought I saw a message, and I see. No, there was a message about something with the tornado warning for Dubuque, and then I lost it. But they did issue that warning. There's been obviously the hail around the Iowa City area, and then there is a spotter who is on the storm down to the south, watching some lowering around the Wayland area and even further south toward Washington.
Oh, you're talking Washington County.
We have obviously these multiple storms with the tornado warning tag on it as well, and so they did issue. They have issued these warnings, and these storms just continue to produce either hail or the wind threat or the tornado threat. So we have not had any confirmation recently, but we obviously have shown you damage. We have seen what these storms can do, and if we look back at the Road Warrior, this is just east of the Winthrop area. Another look at the damage here, and this is why we say to stay in your home, stay inside, stay on the lowest level. And we have a barn that was damaged here, and then I do believe we have some home damage that we're trying to get some more information on from the emergency manager as well, emergency management in the area. But we do have, let's see, Masonville, which was in that same area that we were talking about earlier. So the storms possibly, still have some of that rotation possibility in terms of tornado being capable of producing a tornado. But the best thing to do here is to stay inside, stay in your home, regardless of if we have that confirmation or not, or what kind of rotation we're seeing or not. out of these storms. And so let's do a little bit of a tour here, kind of broad view. We know we had a tornado watch that was issued, and well, that's panned out, unfortunately. We knew that hail was going to be a big concern and the tornado threat. Storms up in the north have moved on to the northeast. We have a couple of little cells that continue to pop up and go up and down in intensity. And then let's go up to Highway 20 here. So we have around Waterloo, we have this storm on the south side, could put down a little bit more small hail, likely not consistently going to produce hail, but could be some pea-size, maybe quarter-size hail occasionally as it comes on through. Then further to the east toward Independence, there's a warning here. This box probably needs to be moved, but they're focused on a couple of other things happening. But the hail falling south of Dundee and Backbone State Park, Manchester, along and west of Highway 30, east of Quasqueton, we have some hail there, likely the size of quarters, and some heavy rain. Further east of there, we just had this storm come out of Earlville, and we knew we were getting reports around Earlville of a possible at least funnel cloud or tornado, and then some strong winds starting to pick up around that area. Dyersville reported 70-mile-per-hour winds, and I think in Earlville they were saying 70-mile-per-hour winds as well. I would say this is pretty wind dominant at this point, but from Epworth down toward Cascade, we would have some strong winds and the possibility of a tornado in the mix as well here with this storm and some quarter-size hail. So we're at least seeing that hail threat and those numbers come down, which is good news. This heading to the east toward the Dubuque airport. This is the south side of Dubuque where the wind and the tornado threat would be. To the north, still some heavy rain and hail that would come into the Dubuque area. Still in terms of right into the heart of Dubuque, around Sherrill, Bankston, we've got that heavy rain and the hail. Then further down to the south, we have another tornado warning. That is down into the Anamosa area. And there is still, east of Anamosa rather, the inflow here. This probably would have the highest chance north of Wyoming where we could have possibly a tornado. Let's go to the velocity on this one. We do have the possibility too of some ping pong ball size hail, and then northwest of Wyoming, south of Scotch Grove rotation here. That would be where I would see the potential for some rotation to be occurring with this storm. And it's maybe a little, it's a little muddied in terms of what it looks like on velocity, but there's the greens and the reds meeting. That is an indication of rotation, and that's where we could be potentially seeing a tornado heading towards Onslow near Wyoming. In these areas, you need to be in your safe place, in the basement, in the lowest level of your home, and away from the windows, because on top of the possible tornado threat, we also do then have the threat for large hail still that is falling, and that would be heading to the east towards Monmouth, and then the counties over here. This is Jackson?
That would be Jackson County.
There we go. And so then back to the west, these storms are training. They go on a train ride, and they can go right behind the other. And we have another one here back toward Anamosa again.
That's got big hail.
That is warned. And between Anamosa and Langworthy, west of Highway 151, we have a lot of hail coming down and the possibility of ping pong ball size hail that's happening there that's going to move back into these areas like Amber and Scotch Grove that we just talked about again. So we get to repeat those names, unfortunately. Then further down to the south, we have another tornado warning that's been going on, and into, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Cedar and Jones counties. I don't know what that one is. Maybe a leftover.
That was the leftover
it could be some quarter to quarter-size, golf ball-size hail that comes out of this storm. It seems to not be quite as intense as maybe it was earlier, but just northwest of Tipton and into Clarence. Then further down to the south, we had this one that was coming in toward back to the west of Iowa City. We had the storm go through Iowa City earlier in Coralville. And then down to the south here, the tornado threat has gone away, but the hail threat has increased. This one has the largest hail currently and is the biggest issue, where around Crawfordsville, we do have the potential getting toward Highway 218 near Ainsworth, where there's the possibility of 2-inch hail. That is eggs, more eggs. So we have more hail coming down, more large hail possible in Washington County currently. And then is there anything else to the west? I don't think so. I think we covered it.
No, I think that's pretty much it. We've kind of got...
And we ruined all the newscasts. So it's 6:30.
We finished that off, yeah.
So apologies to our hardworking producers. And Mitch, who's in the room, but
all good.
Oh, thank you. But we do have, we'll have more news later, and this threat will start to wind down as these storms move out, and especially as they go more into a line. We are going to have more of that wind threat. But this, we had the large hail threat down toward Washington County. Tornado threat near Onslow, Center Junction, potentially.
Saying that there's a possible funnel cloud west side of Onslow. So
Okay.
that would be right where
That
we're
would make
looking
sense.
here. And I'll tell you, this thing it's trying to do it. It's been very consistent here on this rotation for a past couple of scans now. So it's trying to do it, Onslow, and then eventually this is getting out of Jones into Jackson County. I know some folks do get us in Jackson County, kind of competing against the Quad City stations with that, where there's kind of some overlaps. But that would be moving into obviously Jackson County at some point. But east of Onslow, this thing is trying to do it still. So make sure you're in your safe spot, including for you folks in Jackson County who are now under a tornado warning, and that one will take it all the way to the Mississippi River. It does include Bellevue as well there, and Maquoketa.
Yeah, and this is where we probably have at least a look where there's a bit of inflow there around the Wyoming area, and the possibility there could be a tornado along with that, along with the hail. And then to the north, there's that tornado warning for Dubuque. And it has that C shape, backward C shape, and that bow shape that we were talking about, that once again kind of seems to be, I would think, more of a wind threat, but it's possible there could be a spin up. I know this is a storm that has been, at least had some confirmed tornadoes on it.
They were mentioning a little bit of maybe rotation potentially, Highway 151 and Ryan Road. That's going on. I'm continuing to kind of move our Dubuque camera a little bit here. If there is that tornado threat on this storm, I would say it's mostly south of the actual city of Dubuque. It's probably more on top, maybe near the Dubuque Regional Airport. So you'd be kind of going up and up the bluffs there a little bit on 151 or and then eventually Highway 61 there. But that would be where that kind of is at. There's tons of lightning on this storm, though. It's a light show. Just looking at our camera there,
and camera up, or put it in a box, or whatever is easiest for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a light show. And so we have a lot of lightning, and I don't want to diminish the possibility there could be a tornado. I say the same thing a lot, that we want to treat all of these like we want to take our severe weather precautions, whether it's a tornado or not. And so important to stay inside, stay away from the windows, stay on the lowest level, because if there is a possibility a tornado spins up really quick, we've seen the damage it can do already. And so it's best to do that. From what I'm seeing, though, it does seem that we are seeing more of a wind threat there for now. And we'll continue to keep an eye on that as that warning continues. And then Onslow is where they're saying that there's now tornado on the ground east of 136 by Onslow. So that was the area we were watching for the potential.
Literally right there.
That is from the Jones County Emergency Management saying tornado on the ground east of 136 in Jones County. Let's go full on max 1. And this is here where the rotation would be east of Highway 36. Onslow is here. This has been moving kind of in an easterly direction. And so we have the just to the east here through Jones County, possibility that we have tornado on the ground. They have now upgraded that to confirmed. You can see some of that inflow happening right here and here, but there's definitely, looks like the rotation would be right around the Onslow area, and there's this kind of free area away from the heavy rain and the hail, and that's where these storms can really wrap up and unfortunately produce a tornado when they can be on that south side and be away from everything else. And unfortunately, possibly we have a tornado there, and that would be heading along County Road, E26 north of Monmouth.
Yeah, I'm seeing, that's on the ground. I'm seeing a picture of it now.
Oh, okay.
A former colleague of us was sending a picture from another friend.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, we have confirmation tornado on the ground. What is it? What kind of
little rope tornado, that it's
tornado.
on the ground? He was the person who's watching it is looking from Wyoming, so up there. So yeah, it's a little rope tornado. It's still clearly on the ground at this point.
Let's go back to the velocity and see. This is east of 136, and so we're looking around this area for some rotation. As I mentioned, riding along Highway E29, and on the northern side, there's the possibility that we could be seeing some ping pong size hail, golf ball size hail, and such as that's ongoing, and then the tornado threat. And so inside your home, lowest level, and then we have Onslow, and then there, you know, if you know anyone in this area, this is a more rural area, but there's still homes, there's farms, and unfortunately, there can still be damage to these, even if it's a little rope tornado. I'm glad to hear that it's not a large tornado, or hopefully it's not getting larger, but if we have kind of a little rope tornado, those don't tend to, you know, sometimes they can strengthen and they can get larger, but they can be the ones that tend to kind of drop down and pick back up. And we have been seeing with a lot of these, as they are moving to the east, kind of that turning into more of a linear kind of wind threat. And so there's certainly not as much of that tight rotation going on, but we do have a lot of weirdness with all these cells kind of bopping around.
They're saying now that Onslow tornado has now lifted and dissipated, so it is now no longer on the ground. You can kind of see that in the velocity there a little bit. It's not quite as clean as what it was a little bit ago, but yeah, little skiddy rope tornado that was on the ground, kicking up some dust a little bit there.
And they can still do damage, unfortunately, you know, if it hits something. And just for another, you know, proof of this, let's go to the Road Warrior really quick. David, can you tell me where he is? I see.
I'll look. East on 220th Street in Delaware.
He's on Highway 20.
Oh, he is on 120.
What? He's east of what? Winthrop still?
East of Winthrop.
He's east. West of Manchester, and so there's like a piece of a grain bin. You can see the bent power poles there and the debris that's been scattered about. And so this was likely also a kind of brief tornado that touched down. And so if it hits something in the wrong spot, it's going to do damage. Doesn't matter if it's a little rope or if it's a big wedge tornado. Obviously, we're going to have differences in how much damage we see and the extent to it, but it still can do damage. And so, yeah, he was zooming in on some of those power lines that were the power poles that were bent there. And so here's Dubuque. Okay,
that might be a little bit
wrapping in. That is certainly wrapping in around the Dubuque area. And so we've been seeing kind of a wind dominant feature there. And now that's been wrapping in around the airport. The airport would know. The airport would spit out some data about that. So we'll find out how strong the winds are here and the possibility that the wind is wrapping in possible tornado threat here. Tornado warning still continuing for Dubuque. This is on the south side of the city, Dubuque Airport, Highway 151, and then another Highway 151 here. But
Man,
that is certainly
right
some more circulation here, and that is on the northern side of the airport and near Bolly Claw and Military Road. There are cameras over here on the DOT.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
We can pop. We can maybe see if we can.
Yeah, I'll start taking a look. Very windy on our downtown Dubuque camera. I have it pointed to the south, but you can take a look and get some live look at things there. very windy now.
A lot of lightning, man.
Tons
you
of
can see the flag whipping around.
Look at the green hue on everything. It's just
the hail that's still coming down out of this thing. I mean,
torrential rainfall.
A lot of rain, and then the possibility we have then a tornado also going on here with this.
Let's get
and so I know there's some camera. You want me to pop around on this one? Here,
yeah, go ahead. You want to take that, and I can kind of talk a little bit. So, yeah, that's the live look at things in Dubuque right now. Look at those, the flag fully extended out there. Lots of heavy rain, tons of lightning. We can go back to Max 1 here now, and we'll take a look at things. Yeah, so in terms of where we're seeing strong winds and that tornado threat, there's the Dubuque Regional Airport just off to the south here, and then this is 151 that comes in, and this is 61, Highway 61 that goes up from the Quad Cities. So this is really close to that 51 or 151 and 61 interchange there, where there could be a potential, maybe a potential tornado. That just the look of this, and then sort of the the shape on the reflectivity, you've got sort of this kind of bending backwards. We've kind of got that inflow sort of on the front of this, where we've got some of these winds feeding into it this way. And then it's spinning around kind of like this. So we've got some serious rotation that is currently ongoing north of the Dubuque Regional Airport there. It's, man, we're kind of looking at, let me know, that's power's out right there in Dubuque, wherever that is.
This is Highway 20 at the Northwest Arterial, and this is right by the Walmart. Oh my goodness,
hold on, stay with that shot. Look at the Dubuque camera right now, downtown, holy smokes. That is wind.
The wind is just really picking up there, and this is in the downtown area, and on the south side, that would be closer to where we would be possibly seeing the tornado. And I mean, we're seeing the wind still coming out of the same direction in terms of the flag. We saw it change direction, then we know there's a problem there for sure.
Yeah.
But still some very strong winds. We know this storm has already been producing 70-mile-per-hour winds on top of the tornado threat. So still just as strong. I mean, it is a rock, and we know what that is like when you have those terribly strong winds and the wind and the rain coming down and the lightning. That is a real banging thunderstorm happening in Dubuque right now, and just a nasty storm. So if you are in the Dubuque area, you just need to hang inside. And I don't know that this would make you want to leave and go outside at any point. But really strong winds that are ongoing there. And we have the south side of this storm that would have the tornado threat, but still some strong winds coming in on the north side and through the airport. And I'd be curious to see if the airport, if the METAR there spits out anything for us.
Should give us a nice little reading there. Oh, I can take that. I can pull this up on Scandu. So this is on US 20 in Dubuque. Clearly, we've got some power outages there. Traffic lights are off or they're just flashing. We've got a lot of heavy rain. It looks pretty dark in that area too at this moment.
Yeah.
I know obviously the storms are moving in, and
super
traffic
dark.
lights may not be on. This looks like there are some, so traffic lights are off. It looks like, I don't know what that, maybe a car dealership or something that is on, or potentially a business. Those looks like those lights are on. Oh man, so that's some driving right there as well on US 20 towards Dubuque. Look at that intense rain, tough to see for sure. It has definitely dropped visibility quite a bit. Not to mention on the north or the south side of town there, I'd say that 151 and Highway 61, that interchange there near the Dubuque Regional Airport, that's where that potential for a tornado is at. But a lot of heavy rain, intense winds. It is still going on our downtown camera right now. These winds are just continuing to blow very, very, very strong. So you can take that Dubuque downtown. Take that Dubuque downtown again. Look at that, man. It is just absolutely raining very, very hard. We've got, look at that flag. Just that flag might not make it. Hopefully it does. But the camera's shaking, tons of rain. Looks like power's still on in the downtown area. I don't know how much more power we might hold on to here. But
and unfortunately, down to the south, we do have a new tornado warning that is issued for Jones County, and this is west of that other warning, and this is back. So we have another storm back to the west that we were talking about. If we can go back to Max 1, because we do have a new tornado warning, and so outside of the confirmation one, back to the west, and there is some rotation here that is ongoing. This would be north of Winfield and around, Scotch Grove, Center Junction, Columbus City.
Same areas as?
Yeah, almost the same area. It's now north because we had that confirmation near Onslow, and then further to the northwest now near Center Junction, crossing Highway 36. I mean, these same areas we were talking about before. Possibility of some of a tornado and some large hail as well. And so they've let go of that other warning. We know that tornado lifted, so now that confirmation one went away. This one around the Center Junction to Scotch Grove area, and the winds increasing on the south side near Highway 38 there, where we could have a possible tornado. And then to the east, that tornado warning continues into Jackson County. No longer has confirmation on it, but yeah, I saw a picture of that tornado. It was a little rope tornado. It was a little intense tornado there for a bit, and thankfully did lift. And yeah, did you see that picture?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it was strong. It had certainly some strong vortices there towards the surface, and you could see a lot of the dust being kicked up. It was fairly strong there down into that would have been west or eastern parts of Jones County. So that's getting into Jackson County now. There still is that tornado warning out that way, and we're watching now back off to the west. Some of those same areas, Scotch Grove, Onslow. You need to stay in your safe spot because we've got this next storm system coming in that is bringing the potential for at least another tornado that could be possible out of that storm.
And then unfortunately, they did issue a tornado warning again down to the south into Washington County.
Yes, yeah.
And so we do have multiple warnings still that have been issued here, and that has now moved out of Washington and into Columbus Junction. Not confirmed on that one. There was a spotter on it earlier. This one has had some kind of brief intermittent rotation. It kind of picks up and then loosens again, and we've seen that with all of our storms pretty much today. But this is now just exiting the Washington County area, so getting all clear for Washington, and then out of Cedar Rapids with these storms, and we have then still some thunderstorm activity further out to the east in these tornado warned storms. And so we can take a look. The flag's still on the pole. It's
much quieter
it's much quieter in downtown Dubuque. Let's see. So the can you zoom in a bit more into that between Dubuque and the airport? We have.
You want me to go back? I mean, this was.
Yeah, that's where that rotation was really picking up there.
6:37, so 10 minutes ago, and that was right there near that 151 Highway 61 junction. Yeah, so that was where that was about 10 minutes ago. It's starting to get. It's a little more. It's not quite as pretty or not quite as evident now, and we're getting to this thing being almost out of Dubuque County and across the river there. It still sort of has that shape where it's kind of like got some of that little bit of a notch on the I guess north side of it, and then it has that curve out to where it still has that spin. I'd not be surprised if there was a tornado on the south side of Dubuque there near the airport. I would not be surprised if there was one. It would have been in a wall of water as well down that way, and then obviously on the north side dealing with some very strong winds. Those storms, though, to the north starting to exit into Wisconsin now, so they're starting to get out of here just a little bit, and that tornado warning has been extended across the river there into Joe Davies County.
Yeah, the METAR at the airport reported a gust of 88 mile an hour winds. So that was right there from the airport. We knew we were going to get something, so that does not surprise me, unfortunately, that we had that. And that could have been, a brief touchdown too near the airport that happened. And yeah, there's a 67 miles per hour.
The METAR was there giving us. I mean, that's kind of an official site, so that's got good data that to have. Yeah,
that's a direct report.
To have an 88 up there is very, very, that's a huge wind gust. I'll just go back off to the south here a little bit. Of course, we'll continue to say it. It's probably the 1,000th time we've said it today. There's plenty of hail falling in this storm that is in Jones County right now. This tornado warned storm, the second storm that is now moving through behind this initial storm. We've got very, very large hail near Center Junction and then up to the north of Onslow. Once again, we're saying a lot of the same places here. This is another storm that is tornado warned behind this initial one that did put down a tornado near Onslow, a little rope tornado, but kind of looked pretty strong from some of the pictures that we saw out of that. This is another tornado warning that we are watching here. In terms of where rotation may be at, this isn't too clean or pretty at the moment in terms of seeing maybe where there's some spots of rotation. Maybe north of Scotch Grove. It's a little bit on the northern side of that of this warning here, but there certainly could be some spots. Hopefully you folks in this area of Jones County have remained in your safe spot since this. If you haven't, make sure you're getting back into that. I know we've had that one tornado warning pass on through. You've got another one here, but clearly there is just large hail once again, greater than quarter size, probably ping pong ball size, maybe again, at least 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches. That is ongoing there, but this is going to start to get out of the area north of Wyoming. Onslow, once again, you'll have to keep a kind of close eye on things. We'll continue to watch that. Storms in Dubuque are starting to kind of get out of the southern side of the county here.
At least those are moving. They're moving fast.
They're moving.
Probably contributing to the strong winds.
Bro, that was some intense.
Yes, that was intense. We saw it.
And we didn't even probably get where we were looking on the north side, we probably weren't even getting the strongest of those winds. If they were almost 90 on the south side of Dubuque near the airport, boy, that's...
yeah, so we were just where our cameras were, just on that, in the downtown area. And so, yeah, it was in that more rural part of the airport. The airport's out there. There's not much else out there. I've been there before. Free parking. But there's
to the airport?
At the Dubuque airport. But I'm just saying it's kind of more in the rural part of town, so it'd be not usually where we'd have a camera, but still that's where the strongest of those winds were. 88-mile-per-hour winds and possible a tornado kind of wrapping up in there, and that tornado warning going to be the tornadic part of that storm at least going to get out of here in the Dubuque area. And then we still do have in Jones County this tornado warning that was the one that's behind the earlier one from Onslow and around Center Junction, and this not having as much structure. Let's see the velocity though. There's a little bit still wrapping up north of Onslow, west of 136. Let's see.
That's a new update right there.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of rotation north of Onslow around 136 south of Temple Hill.
There should be chasers there because they were just there.
They
so
were
maybe
just
if
there.
they could see it.
If they stopped following the other one.
Yeah.
And
there's quite a bit of rotation on that storm, even into Jackson County there near Iron Hills, towards Fulton, north of Makokata there, eventually 61. That's that first storm. This is the one behind it. You're talking about two areas. You can see two areas of rotation in this one shot. You're probably talking, oh God, those are probably how many miles from each other? Probably 20, 30, maybe-ish miles away from each other there.
Yeah.
There's two different storms with two of their own spots of rotation.
Yep.
And
what's impressive about these storms is that they are going through these areas that have just seen these intense storms, and they're able to still maintain their strength. Oftentimes we see these storms go through and then they weaken because it's kind of eating up all the instability, but it's kind of able to latch on to whatever else is left, and that's why it's forming maybe a little further to the north, but still rather impressive with this. Cascade Fire reporting ping pong size hail in Jones County. That's further to the north of that storm. And then we have still a lot of hail reports.
Tons of hail reports.
Nothing else really coming in about this storm. I know that the emergency manager was pretty locked in in respect to the earlier one. I'm going to send pictures of the tornado so then we can show this, because this is earlier in the...
Did you, Tony, give us the...
Yes,
oh, yes, he did.
yes.
What a gentleman. That's a WIU grad right there as well.
All right, well, a friend. This was the Onslow tornado, and this was near Wyoming that he took these pictures. Look at that. So that's that rope tornado. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes these, like, they're small, but they unfortunately can still do damage. This does look to be in more of a field, and so hopefully it did not hit any farm buildings or anything like that. But thank you, Anthony, for sharing this with us. I think this is important to understand, because we can talk about, this is a little rope tornado all day. They all look different all the time. But this is what it looked like. And just enough to reach the ground, and sometimes just takes that little bit, and it can get that intense rotation that picks up for a bit, touches down, and it was maybe on the ground for, it seemed like a minute or two, if that, and probably has a little scar on the ground from it, and now That's moved on along, but this has happened today. We have seen the images of the damage. We've seen the damage from the large hail, and we know it's not just the tornadoes that can do damage, but this was one today. All the cars that have done damage, and the cars that have gotten damage from the hail, and then we also have had these strong winds picking up occasionally, some 70, 80, nearly 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Yep, yeah, it's just been, we've seen a little bit of everything, obviously. When the day is over and we start kind of evaluating some of the damage, there will be tornadoes confirmed out of these storms here, whether that is back off to the west or along that Highway 20 corridor. Once some surveys are done, they will be kind of evaluating that damage that is ongoing. The good news is we are starting to get some of these storms out of the area now, and things are turning a lot quieter across eastern Iowa here. Still a lot of heavy rain, as well as thunderstorms still ongoing into Dubuque County. I believe the severe thunderstorm warning in Dubuque County is going to be allowed to expire at 7 o'clock, so that will be done and over with. And those storms that are a little bit back off to the west of Dubuque near Epworth and Dyersville, they are sub-severe at this point. You're still talking about some winds that could be fairly strong, maybe approaching 30, 40, 50 miles per hour, but sub-severe. There doesn't appear to be any big hail. There could be some pea-sized hail, but this area has been, this Highway 20 corridor has been worked over pretty good here today in terms of damage from hail, potentially a few maybe spin-up tornadoes or at least wind damage, and so things are starting to quiet down a little bit in those areas. Dubuque on our sky cam, it's much quieter now. It looks like most of the rain is starting to come to an end here. There's spots downtown Dubuque that still have power, so that's good news. Down there towards the river area, the casino, everything else looks like it still has the lights on that way, but still watching at least this tornado warning in Jones County. That is once again north of Wyoming. Onslow, once again, man, this is coming right for you. This is the area where we could have more of that rotation. Luckily, it doesn't appear that there is much at the moment. Velocity mode is keeping things pretty clean and quiet. You can see back at about 6:48, we had some of that rotation that was north of Onslow, where we could see potentially some of that rotation picking up. This latest scan, it's not impressive in terms of there could be a tornado. Things are much broader, and that's good news. That's good news because there's already been a tornado down that way, and there could potentially maybe be some damage. We'll have to see on that. But things are starting to quiet down a little bit more as I kind of just expand things out. We'll give you a wide view of things. That storm down to the south in Washington County is out of here. It is tornado warned. Down that way into Louisa County, so they're dealing with some storms, but things quiet south of Interstate 80 here. There's no real rain ongoing. There are still some spotty showers in northern Lynn County here near Coggin, Center Point. There's a little bit of rain, but that is it at the moment. There is this cell over in Butler County.
Oh my
Hello
goodness.
again.
Hi, Allison.
And this thing has some lightning on it and probably a little bit of hail. Once
These
again,
have definitely been very pulsy, so up and down in intensity.
But this is also developing in spots that have had major. I mean, you had baseball-sized hail that were near this area here, and these had storms in it. I mean, what time is it now? 7.
It's 7.
It is 7 o'clock, and these had storms at what, 3:45?
Yep, 3.
Pretty much.
3:30. And then we do still have this tornado warning. This is what's keeping us here in terms of the potential for tornadic activity and such. And so we just see a report that there was a tornado north of Maquoketa, and so that would be that same storm that came out of Onslow. That's still producing a tornado potentially there, or at least intermittently producing one. Back to the west, though, in our viewing area, there has been this thunderstorm that has been tornado warned back behind it, and not clear on velocity, at least. Still some hail there, and on velocity, it's a little muddied too. Maybe it's around Onslow, or it's northeast of Onslow, where that kind of opening is near Temple Hill. It's hard to say. We'll see if they end up letting this go. This would go until 7:15. I would suspect, probably not, but we'll kind of see how that goes here with this, but
and all things are quiet now in Dubuque County. No tornado warning, as well as no more severe thunderstorm warnings. You're going to get more rain here. You're going to get more thunder. You're going to get more lightning.
Yeah.
With these storms moving through, but I think the atmosphere has been worked over enough in parts of Dubuque County here where we're not going to see probably any more severe storms out of this kind of cluster that's working out of Delaware County into Dubuque County. Lots of stuff. Mitch, go ahead.
Yeah. You know, we saw what the Skycam looked like there in Dubuque. Right now, Alliant Energy is only reporting 100 people out of power in Dubuque, which is kind of miraculous considering how those winds were working there. Or hopefully that American flag held on. What a metaphor that could be.
The spider held on too. It's on the camera still. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, boy, there's something on there. But the big impact we're seeing outside of Howard County, again, you got almost 40% of Howard County, or more than 40% out of power. Little area down in Henry County, just to the east of Washington County, where that tornado system moved through. There's a little unincorporated town of Trenton that's just northwest of Mount Pleasant. I think population's like 70, 75 people. There's 850 people in that area, though, in that rural area without power. That's really, aside from Howard County, the one somewhat significant power outage situation we've seen, according to Alliance map there, poweroutage.us. Just ticked up a little bit here now. So you still got the same number of folks in Howard County, more than 2,200 without power. Just updated Henry County, though. Yeah, you got a quarter of people in Henry County without power. So that's that outage that seems to centralize around the Trenton area. So those are the two spots that we've really seen. But again, according to Alliance outage map, you've got all of 100 people, or 100 electric customers, energy customers, we should say, for Alliant that don't have power. I believe there was about a couple dozen around the Epworth area. Yeah, right there. Should hopefully expected restoration about an hour, 45 minutes from now, about 8:45. Just north of Sageville, you've got another one that's just a handful of people. And then in Dubuque proper, I guess just south there in the Rockdale area, you've got just a little over 70 folks. So again, seeing those images certainly shakes up your perception of what could be hitting. But again, you've got plenty of folks that, as far as Alliance map shows, still have power in Dubuque. But again, the area of Henry County, you got 1 out of 4 folks without power up there, and then significant power outages up in Howard County, again, around the Cresco and Vernon Springs area up there in northeast Iowa.
All right.
And I would say, too, if you want to pull up the Scanju, yeah. So these are videos that David's been sending back of the damage, and there's damage that has been reported around the Winthrop area as well as around Masonville. And this is, you can see pieces of like barn and
like
such,
sheet metal.
Yeah, sheet metal wrapped around these poles here, and then the bending of the power poles. And here's another look at the street sign that's down, another piece of sheet metal that's down there. And then, yeah, just the extent of this damage here as well in the same area. There's something up in the tree, and then some more of that barn or farm building that was ripped apart there, some damage. Looks like a little bit of siding damage to the house there, more of that sheet metal wrapped around a pole. And so that would, you know, certainly be indicative of tornado damage to me. But we will hear from the National Weather Service on their thoughts. And there's pieces of roof off of this farm building that is that has been damaged there. And then we have this barn. This was near the Winthrop area where we saw earlier. That was damaged significantly, and I mean, it was destroyed here. You can see pieces of the wood there and a boat. Another zoomed in look at the roof of that farm building. More damage here, and it looks like they have a they already have a dumpster over there, so that might help with cleanup, hopefully. But not a fun thing to have to deal with, these buildings that have been damaged significantly in these areas, and cleanup that has to happen. And then it rained and hailed again in the area, and you can see the standing water that's also probably been an issue, and some more of the damage as the rain started to come down. and just kind of strewn about pieces of these buildings and such, and really significant damage. So likely due to a tornado here near the Winthrop area, which we did have a report of damage earlier. And yeah, some significant damage there. Lots of different views of it from meteorologist David Holtman of the damage. And so we will get some more information on these tornadoes. We had some reports of damage around the Manchester area as well as Delhi, and then he was going to head toward Onslow and see if he could see any damage there. Good news is that we have seen things kind of calm down in respect to tornado and really the hail threat as well. The tornado watch is still posted here for parts of the area. Is let go in some parts in the west. The rest of the area is still underneath it. I suspect that they'll start to let it go. We do have the one warning, and the Weather Service seems to be more focused a little bit further to the east. They're saying, though, there was a report Delhi fire, which was the storm we were looking at earlier that came toward the Dubuque area. Lots of trees down and flagpoles folded in half. Chief believes it was straight line winds and not tornadic, which is what we were seeing earlier before that storm got to Dubuque, that we had those strong winds, and then had that report of 88 mile per hour winds in Dubuque at the airport. And so could potentially be straight line winds. The confirmed tornadoes off in Jackson County to the east there, and then that's the storm that came out of Onslow earlier. And then we have that one tornado warning to the west, and that one has not really had much word or anything with it, but hard to say. And then further to the north, is the Dubuque one fully out of the area? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's no more now. There has been at least a little bit of pickup, maybe in some hail there. Some of the same areas, Epworth down towards Cascade, eventually over towards the regional airport and south sides of Dubuque. There could be a little bit more potential hail coming in. There's also a little bit of a pickup in the velocity, not tornado, but maybe some wind in there that we could be looking at.
More like a wind.
So you're talking, maybe 40 to 50. And this is high up off the ground, so you could see a couple of wind gusts with this moving in. I don't think it probably amounts to much in the way of severe potential, but some hail certainly once again, up to about quarters in size. This area has been hit with that pretty bad here over the past half an hour or so. There's been some very, very strong wind gusts out of that, but it looks like all of those warnings have been cleared out of Dubuque County now, and it's that threat is creeping closer to the Mississippi River and getting into the Illinois side.
Yes. So that is good news. And like any of these additional storms, we could possibly see some still hail. We could see maybe some additional development. It looks like there is a boundary. You can see the boundary that is sitting there around Ames. And there's, we could see some additional storms fire up later today. That was kind of something that the models were indicating, that we could see tonight some storms bubble up, and we will be keeping an eye on that in terms of any storms that could maybe produce some gusty winds and some more small hail. But in terms of the bigger threat, we're seeing that really wind down. Now, a couple of these storms could pulse up and produce briefly some quarter-size hail and such, but we are seeing at least some calmer conditions in respect to the more intense storms. And then we will have just have to walk out some of these that are still producing some heavy rain, some gusty winds, at times some small hail, and hopefully see some improvement. I don't know if that's my microphone or not.
I don't know if it's me.
It's who knows, but it's fine. We're gonna be done soon. I don't know. My necklace might have hit it or something, but we do have this one tornado warning that technically goes till 7:15, and then we'll see if they're going to let that go. But I do think they're focused to the east with everything. And so it seems that threat really going to be more so to the east of our area into Jackson County, where the concern is. And unfortunately, there has been some confirmation there with the storms, and we have pictures of the tornado that occurred near Onslow. We have images of now damage that's occurred around Masonville and Winthrop. So that's right in that Winthrop, Masonville area. And if you're not familiar, it's on Highway 20 between Independence and Manchester. That's where that damage occurred with the tornado there. We have some more reports around Manchester and Delhi of some damage, some reports that could be potentially straight line wind damage. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some reports out of Dubuque with some damage. And then we had a whole, remember all of the hail? All of the hail that happened.
All the hail.
And so a lot of hail damage that I suspect we'll hear out of Waterloo and Cedar Falls. We've already seen some cars and some homes damaged, and we will unfortunately likely see some more images there. Then we'll bring you coming up at 9 o'clock on Fox 28 on the TV station there. So for now, I think that we'll let this go. The severe threat starting to wind down. There could still be an isolated severe storm, but for the most part, the main concerns with that wind, the hail, and the tornado threat have diminished. Unfortunately, we still have to discuss a severe threat tomorrow as well as on Friday this week before we can kind of calm things down for the weekend. Yeah,
it's been a very active pattern to the start of April. We're good on rain around here. Things are good.
Beyond good.
I know there's a lot of folks that need to, I think people need to start mowing the yards. That's the problem. That's going to be a problem here soon.
Yeah, and it's real soggy out there. So we are going to return you back to regularly scheduled programming. We'll be back at 9 p.m. with our next newscast, and then, of course, at 10 p.m. on CBS. And we'll have more on these storms, more on all of the news of the day that's occurred, and the latest on everything that's happened with these storms and any other storms that may be bubbling up. But for now, thank you for joining us. Stay safe for this evening, and we will hopefully not have any more warnings we have to deal with for the rest of the night tonight.
Get weather-warn alerts on all your devices. Stay ahead of the storm with Iris News Now Weather First.